Welcome, everyone. This is are we calling it a special meeting? We're calling it a special meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for the Zoning Regulation Update Subcommittee. Today is Monday, December 15th, 7 p.m. We have BFJ here to give us their update and progress on the work that they've been doing on the zoning regulations. The update that we're working on, again, we are in the middle of that. It's going to be at least probably another 8 to 10 months before we're completed with that. But we'll have these check-in meetings along the way. Okay. Call attendance: Dan Radman here, Krista Nielsen
here,
Tom Benton. Tom?
Tom's on mute.
He's here.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
John Kriz here. Eric Knowles is not arriving. He's
he's
sent
got a
his
meeting.
notes.
Yep.
And then John Engel.
He said he would be here. Not sure where he is.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll move on. We'll move on without them for now. Welcome.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Okay. This cold night, yeah.
It is.
It's, but the first thing we just wanted to do, I'm just going to introduce this with the timeline and upcoming meetings. The main thing that, well, by the way, I think we are pretty much on, we should have a big one of these, I think. And we're pretty much where we should be, I think. And what we want to do is make sure we get a January meeting, if we could. With you, we were wondering about the end of January, maybe the last week, whatever's good for you. That's not
Last week of January is not going to work.
not gonna work. Okay. Well, we're flexible. We can do the week before, or we can do the first week of February, I think.
The week before, I
Week
would be in
before.
Denmark.
You'll be in Denmark. Let's try for the first week of February.
First week of February is
Sure.
possible.
Let's see what's happening in February.
Commissioners,
I'm
checking schedules.
February, I gotta check two of them, sorry.
free
Michael
so
this
far
week.
every night.
I just can't do the Monday because I would have ZBA. Otherwise, I
Okay,
could do.
so February 3, 4, or 5.
Hold on, let me check, I gotta check another calendar.
Yeah.
Those are possible. Mr. Benton, how does February 3rd, 4th, or 5th look for you?
Yeah, that's good. Yep. I mean, we can't do it on Groundhog Day. So yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
Thursday.
right.
Let me check
that's-
the budget meeting schedules.
Clear for me in the evenings, prefer not Tuesday, but.
The
I can
third
do
probably
other
isn't
days.
good. There are a lot of meetings that night.
On what, Tuesday?
Yeah,
Okay. you
the
wanna do-
4th
wanna do
appears
4th?
open. Yeah, there are no meetings on the 4th. So
All right.
Let's do the 4th.
That's a Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yes it is, that works for me.
Oh, great. So
To hold in the calendar for
Yeah.
7 p.m.
7 p.m. on
Sure.
February 4th. Okay. Good. All right. Yeah, it's kind of, I think it's, just looking at the timetable, these 3 months, December, January, February, actually maybe 4 months, March, we're trying to get into the big, I call them sort of, bigger issues of, and we hope tonight to go into some of those downtown zoning, a couple of ideas on mapping, a couple of ideas on site plan versus special permit, where those go and how, and then the inclusionary housing at the end. So we've got an agenda here for you all, and we also wanted to start. We've covered the date now. We got that, but right after.
You're looking at the same agenda we're looking at for the.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
I copy and
Yeah.
pasted theirs onto ours.
That's fine.
So
Oh, okay,
Just wanna
great.
confirm.
Yeah. Just item 1, third dot point is a survey. We just wanted to suggest to you, eventually we would like to do a survey of the public, but obviously we want you all to see it first.
Yeah.
And so what we thought we could do is send maybe Sarah on initial thoughts. We've already started. A survey on zoning is very unlike, a survey on a POCD.
How is that structured? I mean,
I know.
you can
it's-
get into such minutia with that.
That's right. And for the public to understand, we've been discussing, here are some ideas for it, but this meeting will help us as to a direction as to where you want to go on some ideas. And then we can test some ideas. We don't have to do this until, after our February meeting. But what we'd like to do is have you see a working internal draft before the February meeting. So we don't spring it on you in February and you're seeing it for the first time. You'll see it. And the trick with the thing too is not to have it so that there's a leading question, they should be as objective as we can get. So, if we ask something on almost anything, actually, it's easy to ask a leading question that, we favor. We don't want to do that. We want to be objective. But on zoning also, the public, we're dealing with so many levels of understanding of the zoning code. There's a few people, my sense is there's a few people who really know the code, but the majority of people don't. And so we've got to structure a question with enough context to it so that people can, answer it reasonably. So we're going to try in a survey a couple of maps with it, so that people understand, hey, where are you? Where are we? Sort of. Like you'll see later, we have some ideas that we've talked back and forth with Sarah on, is combining some of the zones downtown. We don't want to ask that question unless you're comfortable with it. I mean, we need to know if you're interested in it. So as we go through tonight and then the February meeting, we could eventually refine that survey. But what our thought is to get Sarah a draft first so that she sees it because she knows the code so well. And then have you see a draft before the February 4th meeting. And then we can just discuss it at the end of the meeting. Because we would like to get it out though in March. We'd like to get it out before. The idea of the survey is to get it out. You'll see it on the timeline, is to get it out before the second workshop so that we get an idea when we have the second workshop. We will have gotten responses on the survey. So we'll get some sense. It's just another, there's nothing scientific about the survey. This is sort of a survey monkey sort of approach. But it will give you some feel from people when we hope, to get a decent response on the survey, which means publicizing it a little bit on the website. So we just wanted to mention it to you because we don't want you to see it cold, because we want you to see it ahead of time so that and feel free to, you think a question is, you don't want to get into that, and just let us know and we'll revise the survey. The other thing about it is it needs to be done in, 10 or 15 minutes. It needs to be shorter. It can't be a 30, 40 question survey. It's got to be, we've learned from surveys before that, you want to lead off with, hey, you can do this survey in 10 minutes type of thing. And
So are the questions more global questions about?
well, that's the difficulty with zoning. See that we do an awful lot of surveys on POCDs, and you can answer global questions in the general direction you want to go. But in zoning, if you're going to change something, or we want to know whether they like it or not, they've got to get a little context. So there may be somewhat fewer questions on the zoning survey, but in depth, a little bit more depth. So, I mean, some of them are easier than others. I mean, if we get into a detailed, are you in favor of combining zones downtown, let's say, if you, that's in my mind because it's something we've been discussing, you've mentioned to us. If we ask a question like that, we feel we got to show a map. They got to know what we're talking about. They got to know what we're talking about. So there's got to be some context to that. That question might take a whole page on the survey. So, but we'll show it all to you. I just wanted to mention it. I don't mean to take up too much time yet. We haven't written. We're through ideas on it.
And we have a draft.
A draft, and we'll send that to Sarah. So you'll get that before the February meeting. We can discuss it at the February meeting. We can make changes, revisions, depending on what you want to see out of it, and so that we get the value you want out of it.
My suggestion on this is perhaps focusing on the hot button issues that are potentially going to get people focused.
Yes.
This is no complete list and not in any order, but things like institutional uses in residential areas is an area of interest among many people. The combination of zoning downtown, that's it's maybe a bit arcane, but also issues of call it density in the downtown area, such as 4-unit vertical or 8-unit or something like this tends to get people focused. Height issues tend to get people focused also. So some matters like that would be, at least in my view, particularly useful.
Okay. Yeah, we'll try to get into those big picture. Like, I think you're right to get into those so you get a feel. And what we'd like to avoid, this is just I try to always do definitions at the end. I don't want to bog down on minutia in the code. I'd like to get to the big issues that you're concerned with. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Just before we exit the schedule discussion,
Yes.
I know that this has come up a little bit, but the new housing bill that's come through, these specifically the commercial zone regulations, we have mandates that we have to abide by July 1. So I don't, I wanted to discuss with the subcommittee and also with you all the feasibility of maybe piecemealing this adoption so the commercial zones are adopted before July 1.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's where.
I think that's probably a very wise thing to do. I mean, I think we're in a really good situation. The fact that we already have you guys contracted, we're already working on this at the moment that, we have immediately 6 months to figure out how to implement this.
We could concentrate on those and be ready. Then it means being ready for a public hearing on those. So you're suggesting maybe a public hearing on the business zones, commercial.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And then have a follow-up later on the residential.
Yeah. And I mean, frankly, with the public hearing, unfortunately, this is a little more of top down than bottom up, just because we're mandated by the state. So as much as, we welcome public comment, our hands are tied a
Some
little
of it,
bit
we're just
for
gonna have to
what,
say we can't.
we have to do this. So hopefully that
Yeah,
means
I
it's a
think
little less difficult to put together a public
Yeah.
hearing.
And also make both a public hearing on zoning on a lot of things makes it a more complex, longer hearing. So
Yeah.
if you want to do two, focus on commercial and then focus on residential, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's a
think
better strategy.
that'd be good.
So would we
Yeah.
want to then do the public hearing like in the summer, or would we want to target it before school gets out? So we had originally
I mean,
intended
that's
for
up to you.
June.
Yeah.
Oh, we did, okay.
Yeah, we did intend it for June before school gets out.
Definitely
And
have to do that.
maybe make
Later
that
June.
the commercial public hearing. I'm calling it commercial,
Yeah,
but
but
I'm sorry.
understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just do a second one. We could be ready for it. Do a second one in September if you want.
I would think though the first one, commercial, would be perhaps a bit more straightforward than the other ones, since there's a mandate on various things where we're often being told what we need to do. The others are more judgment on our part, where we have a lot of flexibility, and public input would be particularly useful.
Could we do the commercial one in May and then do the residential one in early June?
I think that's
I think
possible.
that's aggressive.
Yeah.
I think this is all aggressive, as I've said from the beginning. We have to have something adopted by July 1st, Sarah, meaning the whole.
For
plan-
commercial.
For commercial.
Yeah,
For
or
commercial.
else we're,
So so after a public hearing, then it would go back to the full planning and zoning commission for adoption?
so we would
or-
do the public hearing with the full planning and zoning commission. So
Okay.
basically.
Oh,
once-
yeah, it has to be.
Yeah,
Okay,
so basically, once the subcommittee's on the same page, then you just go to public hearing with the P and Z commission,
an adoption the same night,
assuming the
Theoretically.
P and Z commission.
right? Assuming there's no
Doesn't-
major issues.
Yes.
I would suggest though, not planning you would be a first for me anyway. I usually find, most commissions, you're definitely gonna get some comments.
Oh,
And
for
you-
sure.
You want to show that.
Oh, yeah.
You've even though you may have, you know how you're gonna vote, it's always good to deliberate a little bit. I would, say if you hold, let's
Maybe
say.
a public hearing in May.
Yeah, public hearing in
Yeah,
May, then your
flexibility.
first meeting in June, you go over it. You might make a slight change, you might not, but you've deliberated. And then you adopt.
Doing in May makes sense. It gives us a 1 month flexibility
It
to
does, yeah, yeah.
shine it up
We
if
always have a
necessary.
special meeting if we need to.
yeah,
Okay.
okay,
If
so.
necessary, sure.
Yeah,
Well, we can
flexibility.
do that. We could aim for a May public hearing. And then it gives you June to adopt. And then we could come back in September with the residential.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think.
that's better.
Yeah.
Okay. That still works. That's fine. It'll go into October. That's okay.
Or, well, I mean, we could come back with the residential in June still, right? Or not?
Well, yeah, we could, but I think they'll want to take, well, could, but that's what Dan, I thought was.
I mean, I think it is partially a function of how the next couple months go with
Yeah.
these drafts,
Yeah.
you know?
I wouldn't.
Let's see how it
Too
goes.
far ahead of yourself.
Yeah, let's
But-
not, we can decide on that then.
But I mean, for commercial at a minimum, I think
Yeah.
public hearing in
Yeah.
May,
Will be decision in
Yeah.
June.
yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense to me.
Okay.
okay.
You don't want to get too tight on the timeline.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Tends not to work in your favor.
All right, so that is item one. So, item two, I thought maybe I'd just hand this to Suzanne and, we do want to summarize a little bit what we've heard so far in the engagement.
Sure. So we have the practitioner focus group meeting. This was held on Zoom on November 12th, 2025. And I think that you should have received a summary, but we gave you a hard copy. There were 9 local practitioners there. So those included architects, engineers, developers, and we can go over some of the overall discussion themes. Obviously, we're not going to get into the minutia now in the interest of time, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. So one of the first discussion themes that we wanted to touch on was about area and bulk standards. So what we heard from the practitioners is that residential zones as is are pretty flexible. They didn't have too many complaints about that, but some of the suggestions were to lower setbacks for smaller lots, saying that they were hard to meet on some of those smaller lots right now, slightly increase height limits, allow for higher coverage in the apartment zone, and clarify rules on underground structures and walls. So those were specifically related to things like basements, other underground structures, what that counts towards and people's overall limit. And then also with walls, there were a lengthy discussion about retaining walls, height of walls, what those rules or guidelines should be, which I'm sure you've all heard about before. We can get more into that later. The parking requirements. So there were suggestions to reduce parking specifically in the downtown area for the uses of medical offices, commercial uses, and multi-family housing near the train station. And then development opportunities. So they saw some support for higher density in the apartment and B-res zones. For instance, making B-res permitted use as opposed to, two-family homes in the B-res permitted use as opposed to special permit, so a little bit easier to enact. They talked about potential TOD zoning near the train station, and then allowing for more small-scale housing in areas where sewer allows, such as those B-res two-family homes as an example. For inclusionary zoning, this was very interesting and guided a lot of the recommendations that we made tonight when we get to the affordable housing and inclusionary zoning section. They said that the current rules were fairly infeasible due to the limited number of eligible sites, higher parking requirements, which we touched on, the high fees, and things like the fee in lieu, and then the limited density bonuses, so that 130% density cap, seen as sort of a barrier to feasibility. And then lastly, for uses and procedures, they expressed interest in clearer rules for recreational structures, which is something we've talked about before, like game courts, more staff approvals. So streamlining the approval process to not have to go to site plan for the P&Z each time. And then there were some requests for expanded uses downtown, I think these are specifically related to people who represented property owners or developers that were looking to construct things like nursery schools, daycares, and clubs by special permit. So I'm sure you've heard most of this before, but this is just a brief recap on some of the main themes and how we try to incorporate them into our recommendations for tonight for the downtown and inclusionary zones.
Interesting. One of the findings was avoid the creation of an ARB. Was that kind of a general consensus, or was that?
Well, that's something that's come up. I mean, a couple people mentioned it, but it was mostly in relation to not wanting to bounce around from board to board.
Board to board.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So in terms of when we asked about streamlining the process and efficiency, it was determined that having multiple levels of review where you get sometimes, they had said in other places, and we've seen this in other places too, where you get conflicting design advice or conflicting recommendations from different boards can lead to sort of the ping-ponging back and forth between boards and prolong the process. So that was the intention, was sort of avoid making things more inefficient.
We see that, and that's been mentioned to us in other communities.
Mhm.
And communities that have, some communities have a separate, village district board.
Mhm.
And so the idea in streamlining it is to try to have one board, if possible, yourselves. I don't want to give you extra work or anything, but usually.
We're already
what
doing
we-
it.
Yeah, one board
Yeah,
with
we
6-hour
are
meeting.
We are it, I think.
Usually what we
Yes,
see
I
is,
agree.
it's tough on a applicant. I see this in other communities that, the architectural review board, if there is one, has, certain design scheme that they would like. And then it goes before P and Z doesn't agree. And, so the applicant is caught between two different groups.
Mhm.
So it is something we have seen, I actually bring to this a little bit of a bias. I think that it's hard if you get too many groups all on the same issue, particularly design, which is somewhat, not entirely, but it's somewhat a value judgment. It's somewhat, it doesn't get down to the color of a building, but it can get down to different.
We can get.
Yeah.
into that.
All right. So you know what it's like, and I think to have two different boards, if you don't have to, I don't see I thought they had a good point. In other words.
Yeah. The other stakeholder meeting was in end of October. We met with your town attorneys, and that was mostly an introduction. We went over the timeline and scope with them and informed them of our approach. And they said that it would make sense if there are specific questions, we'll reach out to them, and that they'll be more involved in the process once we start actually drafting the recommendations. But in light of the new House bill, I think it makes sense for us to set up a meeting with them just at some point in the near future to talk about their interpretation of some of the laws if questions come up. So, there were certain key issues that we talked about at that first meeting that we are keeping in our mind, such as things like special permit criteria, the need to change where special permit criteria waives certain items in the regulations for the Planning and Zoning Commission, which is a legal issue that they addressed with us that we're paying attention to as we go through the code. But we'll be in close touch with them as we start drafting the actual regulations in the coming months.
Regarding the new state law on housing and such, just ask you to please keep your ear to the ground regarding what other towns are, how they're squaring the circle.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to steal good ideas from other people.
Yeah.
If it seems to work, great.
Right now, some of the other towns we're working with, and we were having this discussion earlier, we can also talk to other people here in Connecticut, other attorneys and planners, practicing planners as to.
Regarding these meetings you had with the landscape architects and the architects and the builders and engineers, what was beyond what they said, what was the tone and vibe of the meetings?
Actually, for me, I thought it was generally positive. In other words,
Okay.
Sometimes, actually, well, I'll give you.
There were a lot of complaints about Greenwich and that don't make
do what they do.
regulations
That's a
like
low bar.
Greenwich.
Yeah.
So,
That's
not a lot
right.
of that.
That's right.
Say that, sorry.
For instance, Greenwich, right? I mean, we work for Greenwich. We've done 3 of their neighborhood plans. We did their whole, one of their R6, we did the entire R6 zoning modifications, and it's, you are, I can say, I think just from, other people I just saw, I see Arthur Collins, just a reception at Pace University. And I told him we were working here. He said, "Oh yeah, New Canaan." He said, "It's Frank. I think it's so much better working in a place like New Canaan than it is Greenwich." Again, he mentioned Greenwich. I don't mean to. It's not just Greenwich. I mean, for him, he happens to live in Darien, and so he felt that you've been. He felt that you're generally reasonable. That was just one man, and I probably shouldn't say it that way, but I think it was a fairly positive meeting. I mean, they gave us their sense of where things could be improved, and we realize we're talking to people who, they're developers or they're
Have
attorneys,
something to
or
gain from the
so,
process.
but they do know the code, and so they were generally not. I don't think they were negative as such. They were just trying to get these improvements that they thought were worthwhile.
When I look at the list you put together, I don't hear a lot of root and branch change being suggested, which I was encouraging.
Yeah, I think
Sometimes
there
you
was
get
one-
that.
One kind of outlier who was pressing for a little bit more density everywhere,
Yeah.
but
A little more what?
density.
Density.
Yeah. And, we
I can
realized
pick
that.
who
You
that
can
was.
guess who it was.
Yeah.
But most of that,
People talking their book, we saying,
most of that change focused in the downtown though. Like I said before, they stated that the residential zones are fairly flexible. So that was one of the first, off the bat things that was mentioned. Yeah.
I mean, one prime example is a recent application we had in the apartment zone, and using other apartment zone properties as examples that were built before the current apartment zone regulations were in place, making, I don't know the exact percentage, but a large number of the properties in the apartment zone that are existing already non-conforming.
Most of
Already
them, most of them are.
Yeah. So,
Existing
and
non-conforming.
it's, when you're creating a zone called an apartment zone, you're inferring that it's higher density in order to facilitate better, more varied development. Our current regs don't reflect that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right, so we wanted to, do you have the map?
Yes.
The map handouts. We wanted to just discuss an idea. We walked around downtown with Sarah, and then we came, and Sarah shared ideas on a couple of zoning mergers. And we thought it would be good to just discuss them a little bit with you and see what you think. So what you have on, well, wait for Emily to.
Oh, you don't, yeah. You need a copy, Sarah?
No, I got one. Thank you.
Good. So you should have one, which is the existing zoning, downtown zones. And, so the purple here
The light
is
purple.
the light purple. Yeah, the light purple. is,
Are either of you
really.
able to join the Zoom meeting and share your screen to?
Oh,
Yeah, I can do that right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can share my screen. I have.
downtown and proposed, yeah.
Give me 1 second. Did you email it or is it on the website?
It's on the website.
On the website.
good.
I mean, initial thoughts, was anyone concerned about this proposal?
I'd add just a couple minor issues. If you look at the corner of Park and Cherry, that one little corner on the northwest side,
Oh, that's part of St. A's.
yeah, part of St. A's. The history of this is that maybe 30 years ago, there was a house there that was a rooming house or a B&B. and that got torn down. And it's that spot. So it's an atavism of a building that's no longer there. So that bit is now all parking lot for St. Aloysius
Aloysius?
Catholic Church.
Is it a separate parcel, Sarah?
No.
As I remember the trade, if you look at a little farther south, you see those 6 squares. Those are 6 townhouses. I think the swap was, they just move it down there.
Oh, I see.
So given that this is all parking lot for a church that's really all integrated in with the rest of the parking lot, keeping it part of the downtown zone doesn't make sense to me. So I'm just going to throw that out as an issue.
Mhm.
Let's just clean it up. It doesn't
Okay.
make any sense anymore.
Where, can you?
Correct, yeah.
Sarah, can you help me share?
Oh, it is
I'm
that
not
one.
able to.
Okay,
Sorry.
it's this one. Yeah,
Little
I
square.
see. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
So,
That entire, except for the corner with the 6 little squares, which is a
Okay.
townhouse development, the rest is all St. Aloysius Roman Catholic Church, their whole
right.
campus. So this is an atavism that we just going to clean up.
So that southeast corner there,
Yeah.
Sheridan
right.
North. Okay, yeah.
That's removed.
Yep, I got it. We got the same one.
Another one that Sarah and I chatted about, and she brought up some information, but I want to bring it up, is the part of, you look at Cherry Street, a little farther to the east, you have 2 squares. One is the Gulf gas station,
Mhm.
and the other one is part of the library campus.
Yeah.
You had some comments regarding village district guidelines, I think, and some other issues that probably worth going over, but, it's only part of the whole campus. Does it make sense? I'd just like to put it on the table and think about it
One of
anyway.
my comments was gonna be, why don't we put the entire library parcel
Sarah, could you? put
into?
that
That
up
was
on
my
screen?
thought. I was-
Into the.
Sarah
business
mentioned
zone.
one or
Or
two
just
issues we
do it
should
on the
think
screen, that
about,
way
and I
we
just
can
want
write
to
it
put it on the table so we
Right now.
have all the information.
So turn around now, okay.
Those 2, yeah.
Those 2
Funny that the
are,
parcels are different on the 2 different maps.
So
Where the-
this is a gas station, this
Yeah,
is a gas station.
that's the go.
This is the library and it's half in the apartment zone, half in the business zone.
right.
And so I think you all are saying,
I would
make it
put it
all
on.
business zone?
Yeah, and it's weird.
Put it
Sarah.
all in a same zone for whatever reason makes sense.
Those parcels are different.
Isn't it weird that on this map, doesn't have the parcels agglomerated?
Jane.
Oh.
They've been merged at this point.
Yeah, so at this
Yeah,
point,
this
it's
is
all
from,
merged.
the engineer.
Tie and bond, yeah.
They've all been merged. As I remember, they were merged when the
The
whole
library.
thing,
Yeah.
when they
That whole area
expanded.
would be in the business zone then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's then, if you take it a step further,
Well,
Yeah, I was about to go a step further.
Yeah,
So
please, thank you.
then you get, so this is all the library. This is a parking lot.
Yep.
This is center school. And then this is a commercial garage in the apartment zone. And this is a commercial garage in the apartment zone. So, and the
Both of-
commission can debate, do you want to support these businesses? Do you not? But in theory, do you draw a line?
Right.
Right.
Incorporate both
Yeah.
of these into the business zone?
I say yes.
I
Both of
would
those
say yes.
garages predate our zoning code.
okay, so include the whole.
Been there a long time.
But the parcels are just.
On the
By the
roadway.
parcel.
right.
Well, so this one and then, sorry, what are you saying?
We would want to split the parcel, right?
Yeah, so I mean, this is a parking lot owned by the town. I don't know how residents or town in general feels about making this whole lot also commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But just-
go around that lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just follow
But-
the right
but-
of way.
but
instead
to
of
Build
splitting
center
the
school.
Oh,
But to be,
just follow
Sarah,
the.
could you draw on the map though what you have? in mind?
I can draw.
Yeah, that'd be great. You have it.
but to be clear,
Oh, I
that,
see. Great.
that portion of the parking lot that the library uses right now, that we're talking about bringing the business zone down into, that little leg in that northeast corner is all lawn. It's not even parking lot. Right? So if we were to, let's say, carve that portion out and leave it in the business zone, it's not going to affect the parking that the library uses already.
Yeah,
I think it's
I would
a
just do
smart
what
move.
the Suzanne is doing.
To
and
follow
just
the right
the
of-
right of way of the road and leave the parking lot out.
okay.
And then
That's
would
what-
you do this entire lot
I
here?
would,
No.
yeah, I would incorporate that.
You would include that in business?
The library?
Well, it's all one lot anyways.
Isn't the library?
The library is
zone
one
zone?
entire
It's an
lot.
overlay zone,
Okay.
so
But yeah, you didn't include the whole parking lot,
We
right?
would.
I didn't in
Yeah,
mine,
you didn't in yours.
but if that's what, I'll defer to the
Oh,
commission, of
okay.
course. This was.
Sarah, if I
I
can
wouldn't.
ask a question. Right now in that parking lot that you just highlighted, there's a lot of commercial parking there that's rented out. So AC Auto Body and the other auto body shop right there seem to be parking all their trucks here. So is anything we're going to do going to encourage more of that, which I don't want to see, or discourage?
No, so I mean, and you know, right now Suzanne has the library parcel highlighted, center school lot is not. But you know, the use is municipal parking regardless, and technically that's not even an allowed use in the apartment zone, and that's where this lot is. So whether we zone it commercial or not, really doesn't impact how the town uses their own municipal parking lot.
Yeah, my understanding is the ANC Auto Body, which has its wreckers there, is that because they do work for the town lets them keep their vehicles there. That is my understanding.
It's
So
not,
like if
it's not
it's-
really because of that. It's both of them just petitioned the town to rent some spots.
Maybe they rented it, I can't remember. I thought it was the other one. but
Both
I take your point.
AC and CNH, they both rent spots.
Yeah, they have like three or four spots for the wreckers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, let's just discuss it.
Yeah.
But the issue of center school lot being in a different zone is, I think, worth at least thinking about.
So I mean, right now it's in the apartment zone.
I would just leave it.
You don't have to
Leave it.
overcomplicate
Yeah.
it.
But I do think we
I'm a
should
bit
capture those
agnostic.
two commercial business. Yeah, I don't have a strong feeling either way. I would just say, in the absence of having a strong feeling, I would just leave it in the apartment zone.
But the entire, so the Gulf Station stays where it is.
Yeah.
And the entire library campus become part of the downtown zone, as well as those two small, call it auto parcels. That's the idea.
And for the sake of
Yeah.
continuity, I would say bring that business zone be on that little northwest corner of the library parking lot so that there's some continuity along down to CNH,
So you're saying not follow the right of way?
not follow the right of way.
You would take half the parking lot.
Okay.
So that would be the one on the left, that option in the blue.
Correct.
I mean, I
We got
guess.
two
these are
these
two
options.
We got two options here,
I see red and blue.
Right.
red and
Yeah.
blue, so.
I guess it begs the question to
Dan,
me
can you
of
see it better there?
whether we should be splitting parcels with zoning, which is something we've done in the past that
Yeah.
I thought we're attempting to clean up.
Yeah, I mean,
I
When
mean,
I
the fact
brought
that
it
it's the
up-
town parking lot kind of,
Yeah.
again, makes it.
I think that makes it a larger hot potato that I don't know if the commission wants to tackle right now
Yeah.
or not.
Splitting.
Yeah,
Yeah, my view is, if there's a compelling reason to split, I'm happy to have the conversation, but if there isn't, either goes in one or the other.
I mean, Dan, if it was ever gonna redevelop, if there was ever the potential for that parking lot to redevelop, then I agree that frontage should be commercial
Mhm.
along Main Street there, but I don't think in our lifetime, we're gonna see that parking lot redevelop, and if we did, we could rezone.
yeah, I mean, you could always rezone at a
Yeah.
future date.
So you're saying that Suzanne just drew now, doing the whole parking lot?
Yeah. I have one other plot.
And
I
not
would,
the park.
I think
Not the
everyone's
parking.
leaning towards orange.
I'm leaning, yeah, towards orange.
Toward orange, yeah.
So not splitting the lots.
Right.
I'm okay with the orange. That's where I'm coming out.
Yep, I'm good with orange.
I do have one other plot I would like to look at. If you look at Park Street, a bit north of Elm, you see a rectangle that's white.
The north of Park Street.
North of Elm on Park.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's the Park Street parking lot.
On the east
Right.
side.
So part of it,
Oh, that's B-res, yeah.
is,
Oh,
that entire
Is
thing
that
is the
split
lot.
Yeah,
I would just make it all yellow and part of
Part of the business
downtown.
is that one parcel or is?
that is, yeah, that's all
Okay.
the.
So
that's
the
all the
zoning's not
town-
following the parcel there.
Correct,
Is it
I would
this
put
one?
all the parking in
correct.
sort of one zone.
Yep. I
You're
would
you're
too.
okay with that, Commissioner Nielsen?
Yes, I'm good with that. And then I had a question about one more parcel that.
So that parcel would be then in a business zone.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
This
Okay, yeah.
Parcel here, isn't this the yoga studio next to where we approved Merrill Lynch in the old post office?
Yeah, it is.
Why is that not commercial?
That is the yoga studio.
Because then next to it's the 4 houses and then
You're right, that is the
Well-
yoga studio.
But I don't understand how
No.
we have a yoga
No,
studio.
it's
On
can't
that
be the
map,
yoga
on
studio.
that map, it's shown correctly. See, the two
Map on
maps
the
are
right?
different.
Yeah,
On that map,
Oh, so this is Merrill Lynch and this is the.
That's
Yoga
correct.
studio.
But there's something, what's here?
I think
Is
a
there just
house.
That's the houses.
Oh, okay.
Those are the
so if you
houses.
look at the map on the right,
Yeah.
that one's correct.
It's that pointy one.
Yep,
That's,
all right, got
yeah.
it. And then one
That's
other,
the yoga with has 2 apartments above it too.
one other place that I thought was wonky in the name of splitting lots is right here
Yep.
on East Avenue, where it probably should just follow the property line and not split that
Yeah,
lot.
those are
in half.
Yeah.
residential.
I have that colored
that's-
in.
I would agree
Here.
with
As
that.
well as,
okay,
I
yeah.
have a
Colored
I
in on
agree
this.
with that.
as
Oh,
well
all
as.
right,
And
Great.
whether, I mean.
Let's
again,
pick that up.
I understand why this one is split between
You have it.
retail
right
and
here.
Okay,
business,
good.
but is that
Good.
something everyone's okay with?
All
Or
right,
is that-
that's
I
good.
mean, that's
I'm
a
okay with
private
that.
parking lot. I'll defer to them, but
I mean, it's the,
Well, it's part
Well,
of
there's
the
no
retail zone.
frontage.
It's
There's a-
parking that supports the retail zone.
right,
Yeah.
but you want the frontage to be retail. I think that's fine for the parking to be business.
There's also another parcel on, as you go down Main Street and where the C&H is, you turn down East Maple, the second lot in is currently split in half.
Oh, right here, I see.
oh, that should probably
that a
just be
split?
B-res. It's a
That should be
two-family
res.
home.
Yeah, that should be res.
Oh, yeah, this one.
Yeah, is that a split or is that simply the dark line is over to the light line?
No, it's-
The
it's-
zone.
Yeah, so it's a
It's
split
parcel
lot.
that's split.
Okay.
So convince me that there's an advantage to doing this consolidation over what we currently have.
Yeah. I,
Bureaucracy,
What?
less bureaucracy.
there,
I know she likes it. Convince
She was
me.
very clear, yeah.
I think in walking around and actually, when I was walking back from the train with Sarah back here, she's mentioning to me, I was looking again at Elm Street saying, it's a lot of downtowns that we work in, it would be 3 stories. And she was saying, look, it's fairly unique to everybody in New Canaan knows Elm Street. And it'd be dangerous to, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Sarah, but I got an impression it would be a little bit that Elm Street really is, this zone of Elm and Main is really fairly unique, that people are used to it. People like it. I know I have friends in the general area where one of the shoppers said to me, I'd rather shop in New Canaan than Greenwich. Greenwich isn't flat, New Canaan's flat. I mean, she went through all these reasons, but one of them was that she just liked the ambiance of one retail store after the other, and it was low scale. And I did sense that in walking around again. I hadn't viewed it that way originally, but that was an impression that I had. And then the business zones, they're somewhat similar. The area and bulk schedules are similar. And this could make things, well, it would simplify, that's for sure, but it would make this zone, which is in purple, the Elm Street, Main Street zone, really the unique place that's going to stay pretty much the same way it is now. Whereas we offer a little bit more flexibility in the yellow area. We didn't see, I guess the question is the other way around. And please add on, because you studied this, and Emily studied the area in bulk and the uses a lot. We're going to get to those who've got some ideas, but it would make the whole schedule, business schedule, area in bulk and uses easier, and it would make it easier for people to understand what they are. You've got zones, and I don't know the history here as well, although we worked here before, but it wasn't as much on zoning as it was on your, institutions here in town hall. It would make things clearer, easier. And I didn't see really any area in bulk or use impediments to creating one sort of business zone and one retail zone.
Yeah, so what we initially were going to do, after speaking to Sarah, was have
put the business D back into business B and put business C into business A, combine those. And so then there would be 3 zones. But once we started putting that on an area and bulk table, we realized that the only difference between those 2 business zones would be like maybe a slight difference in FAR. So then we were like, well, why don't we just make just these 2 zones? And then we were like, let's try it with the uses. And as we reviewed the uses, it was like, well, what is the reason for allowing, this type of thing in this area, but not in this area? So yeah, we're open for discussion, but that's kind of how the idea came.
It was just iterative for us, learning the details of your zones. And then one day in the office, actually Emily said to me, wouldn't this be easier if we just combine the business zones? And that preserves your Elm Street, it preserves Elm and Main. And
Forest as well.
Yeah, and yes. So it preserves that sense of downtown, but then it leaves one zone all around it.
When I look at the change in zone, if you look on Forest Street, a number of areas that were in the retail B are moving into just retail or the Golden Circle. Given what's there, I'm kind of okay with that. Because it strikes me as that's still the pedestrian storefront retail piece of the town, given how it's developed. So I am okay with that stretch. So I don't know if anyone disagrees, but that seems very reasonable to me. I can't think of any other contiguous parts of downtown that should
user-friendly also.
Yeah, that should be included in it.
The only one I don't think it's ready yet, but once Vertus transforms.
When what?
Vertus Avenue, once that development's done, that may become more walkable and that.
Yeah.
But there's no retail built into that development.
No.
But
And I
there's
mean, right now
retail- But there's
the-
retail across the street from it.
Well, but there's Gannon Fence, there's a lot of.
There's that spa or the nail place.
Right.
But I
There's
mean,
the
if you-
butcher.
There's a butcher, there's a
Laundromat.
dry cleaner, there's, the forge.
But so you guys
And
are,
next to
you're
the-
getting.
It wasn't Zoombox trying to go in there as well?
Yeah,
They
You're right,
already own
correct.
some.
So-
Which I have to assume if you've got more density of housing there, you're going to have more walkable retail on that street.
And remember that the retail that's allowed in the retail zone is also allowed in the business zone.
Right.
So just by having it be business doesn't mean you're necessarily stifling future retail development or the enrichment of it.
Yeah, I think to build on Sarah's point, the idea is to provide more flexibility in the business zones that are outside of that Elm Street, Main Street core. So allowing multiple uses within the business zone to sort of determine what is desirable by the property owner of the market.
And you know what may help
With
too? You
that.
don't have to make this decision now, but particularly it might be good to come back to this after Emily goes through item 6 and 7 here, area and bulk table, and then the use table. That's where we, sort of as Emily said, that's where we realized, gee, there aren't huge differences. And maybe we do create, one zone. But we're not, by the way, you've got to be, you've got to be, it's your decision, but it was just something that we suddenly thought, after looking at area and bulk tables and use tables, and maybe if we go through those, then come back to this, because we don't have to make a quick decision.
Are the current height restrictions in retail A and retail B the same? Stories and height?
I think it's uniform across
Yeah, we can
all
give you-
commercial zones.
Yeah, we
but-
have all of the area
have it all.
and bulk stuff, which we
Yeah.
were gonna get into after going over the organization of the business zone section. So maybe we can do that and then come back to
Sure.
the question when we get to area and bulk.
I have one other question on the business zone. It's on the far north bit on Heritage Hill Road. So we have the, if you're looking at proposed, we have the big piece there is the locust lot. And we have we have the new
Hudson
apartment
Lane.
building
Yeah.
and essentially the open area with a couple older buildings that are
Mhm.
used for residential behind it.
Right.
So and I think I don't know if that includes Mrs. Corson's house. I remember she's,
Doesn't.
I don't
This
think
looks
it
like it
does.
just includes the new Houston Lane development, which
Yeah.
did rezone to retail B.
Yep.
So it's.
Which, this is on Locust? Or-
This is on Heritage Hill.
it's off, it says Husted Lane and it's
This one here.
in the
way
middle
up,
of the
yeah,
top, that area.
okay, Yeah.
I am okay with that, given what's there, frankly, I think,
Mhm.
but I just
Well,
want to note that
did
this
we-
is
Yeah.
an expansion, so.
It's not an, I mean,
Well, but it's,
Retail
but it's
development.
capturing the new,
New development,
well, the
Yeah.
new residential
But they
development in
rezoned.
the business zone.
yes.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
the
there's also
old
a small
map does not
office there,
represent
supposedly,
the
but-
fact that Houston Lane
Yeah,
rezoned
that
into
12
retail.
unit,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think
not.
they had to have office there for, but anyways, a small office.
Is this on the right? Does this capture all of the input that we just went over? The 2 red X's are lots to take out. And then the orange ones are lots to add into the business zone.
Did we want to, over on East Avenue, were we
On-
adding or?
No, I think we're.
No, the lot line,
Yeah, I know we need to fix the lot line, but I would take the lot that's being bifurcated out.
Out rather than include the.
Rather
entire
than
lot?
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
take that out.
What's in that lot?
It's a single.
It's a single
family.
family.
Single family home.
Is that, what's in the lot?
That's a
house.
residential
Yeah.
property. The one
Oh,
next to it
okay.
is the flag lot that has the retail in the back. And then you've got Cherry Street East on the corner.
That's
So
fine.
correct.
The other parcel, which
Fine.
is just above your Legends box.
Yeah, okay. I was like.
The other
Yeah.
one that needs to be
Yeah.
corrected is the one just above your Legends box on East Maple Street. That second parcel in from Main Street. We have to,
Yeah, I think she's got
Oh,
it.
wait, I have
Yeah,
this
she's
one
got the X
here.
on it.
I think that's a 2-family.
It is.
Let's see, can
Isn't
I
that
zoom in?
2-family?
oh yeah, you do have the X on it. Okay.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
2-family.
Okay, great. So we'll update that also for the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting tomorrow.
And then what about,
Can I pose a question to the other commissioners? And that is, I always worry that medical establishments start to overtake. And it could be something that kind of, one, it requires parking. 2, it's really a different type of traffic. I like on our existing how we have it kind of contained. If we don't have that contained, we can see medical popping up everywhere without really
right now they're allowed in
for
business
parking.
B and business C.
I think it's allowed
Yeah,
in
I think
every
it's
zone.
allowed a
I
lot
thought
of
it was
places. It's more about the
Just,
size
I
of
thought it
it.
was just in C.
No.
No, I believe it's
Well,
allowed in
then-
every zone.
Then do we use this opportunity to restrict it?
Well, that was a question when we get to the uses that I was gonna
Yeah.
ask, is it seems to me that in the past, we were trying to restrict it,
Mhm.
and it seems that we've now, well, with this draft, potentially opened it up more, and so I do think that's a conversation we have to have, Tom, but let's wait till we get to the uses.
I agree. Yeah,
The other
I would
thing-
agree, Commissioner Benton, that medical is a different animal as far as perhaps need for handicapped parking, in and outs, and so forth. So,
the other thing I perceived, I was
I
just
agree.
interested in how it worked sort of at the end of your code. That if there's a change of use and it doesn't meet that change to new use, and what I was thinking of medical office, I usually run into that as the usual thing. Medical office needs more parking than normally.
yeah.
You do have in your code that change of use, if I read it right, that change of use, if it varies from the regulations for other uses, that has to go to you.
Yeah.
If I read it correctly.
Which is why we have
Yeah,
so many site plan
so many
applications.
site plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that use can make, that use is usually the big difference is medical office.
Mhm.
Okay, well, should we, okay, we're okay on, well, we're okay on a
We'll come
preliminary
back- yeah,
way.
We'll come back to the
But
map.
maybe we come back to it and maybe we just go, Suzanne, maybe cover
Sure.
item 4, which is the organization of the business zone section.
Yeah, sure. So this is just to inform you of a slight change that we thought would make it more user-friendly. So to have a use table at the beginning of the business and retail zone section, so that's section 4.1. So that would be essentially an overview of the uses that someone could take a quick glance at. It would show what's permitted, what's special permit, what is not permitted. And then under each specific zone, so retail or business or whatever you decide on, then there would be the different conditions listed for each zone, and we'll go through those conditions. But that way there's an initial table that shows an overview, which you can take a quick glance at.
This is a version of
Yeah,
it,
which one?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
obviously not
Lily's
formatted
gonna-
in the, yeah.
Pass it out.
but this is what
Okay.
you're talking about,
Something like
this.
that, yeah. And then the actual conditions would be located within the respective zone.
Text,
The
yeah.
text, yeah. And then for the area and bulk, it would be something similar. So the way that you have it currently, the last section in the business zone, section
Emily's
is.
gonna pass it out in a minute.
Yeah, we'll pass
sorry.
everything
Yes, I
out.
feel like the
Yeah.
last man out. I'm the
Yeah.
only one without it.
No, no,
You put your
we're-
papers at home, Dan.
No, I didn't.
We're gonna pass them out.
Do that now. Yeah. So the same thing would be the case for the area and bulk. The last section would be an area and bulk table with text written underneath to elaborate on any points.
And you have an area and bulk table now, but it's in an appendix. We'd like to get it in.
Yeah.
In the,
No, I like it
Thank you.
yeah,
up in the section. I
Yeah.
think both of those.
Thank you.
We also don't really have one for the commercial zone.
Yeah, it's for residential.
Yeah.
right, yes.
I'm not against fewer site plans. My sensitivity is on uses that can create negative externalities as far as, what you can.
Well, actually, you've led just to item 5, if I could just
Oh,
introduce.
I'm getting ahead of you all.
No, as we go through these, the area and bulk table, I thought if you could be thinking about what your existing, your existing option A, we've called option A, is basically site plan approval and special permit.
Looking at,
Sorry, item
The
5.
agenda.
Oh, I haven't looked at anything yet.
Sorry, just the agenda.
I'm just on the agenda. I'm sorry,
We
Dan,
have a lot
I'm
of
still.
handouts today, sorry.
Sorry, just on item 5, just introduce this, that what we think is your existing, and there may be some exceptions to this, but you've basically got a system that has, things going to you for site plan approval and things going to you for special permit. What I think you've been aiming for, we're interpreting what we're hearing, is option B, might be more of what you might want. What is going to be as of right? That is, it doesn't go to you at all, but it goes to the planning department. It goes to Sarah. And that would be similar to, by the way, in a certain way, I never like to say this, but in a certain way, that would be like New York City. There'd be certain things that are truly as of right. They go to Sarah and the department. It doesn't go to a commission where you're deliberating on things. So, and it doesn't have a public hearing. So we see option B as of right. What is as of right? Doesn't go to you. What is site plan approval? Does go to you for site plan approval. And then what is special permit? And if I heard you right, you'd like to get some of the special permits to become site plan, some of the site plan to become as of right. Now I'm guessing, but so we listed this as option B, except we don't know where you stand on a few of these things. So we thought what we'd do is Emily be able to go through area and bulk and use table and think about what you think should actually be retained with you for a site plan and what should also be retained as a special permit. And if you think you identify an item that doesn't need to go to you, then we could make that an as of right item, that it only goes to the planning department.
and to be clear, we're talking about business zone only in this discussion.
Yeah, in this discussion, it's the business zone.
Because
Yeah.
the option B is basically how our residential zoning works right now.
Right.
Because a residential, we actually only have as of right or special permit. We have no
Right.
site plans,
Right.
but yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no as of right in the business zones, it's all uses with site plan approved, permitted with site plan approval,
Correct.
yeah.
And the reason for that is just, it's a unique, every parcel in downtown area is unique
Yeah.
in terms of height and mass and
Yep. Yeah.
relationship to the street. So there's a level of oversight we want to maintain in terms of the projects that are being proposed.
Most codes we see, most, not everybody, or many of them. Your residential is a little different because a lot of codes in Connecticut, the single family house just goes, it's not saying it should be, but it goes to the department. It goes to the planner. It doesn't go to site plan. It's not subject to site plan. So residential.
That is how it is here,
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's how it operates in most of Connecticut. And it's the business zones, it's the business uses and multifamily that usually it requires site plan.
Mhm.
And then some special uses that, you really do need, they're big or there's something about them, they need to be a special permit. But many times what we see is basically a lot of residential is just as you said, you had to have it, Sarah, that residential, a lot of it's just as of right. Single family particularly.
Right.
But the two things that are subject to site plan review are usually commercial and, just commercial uses and then multifamily. Because they usually get more complicated and you want to know where access is and how landscaping's done. It's more visible. It's more, that's how a lot of towns we work in are organized. So they're organized a little bit around option B, but.
The only other caveat that we were discussing also with Sarah is the village district guidelines, because we know that you all get the village district review. So that's something to consider, as well as potentially accompanying the site plan approval for those items that would go to you anyway for site plan approval and village district review.
And you don't have any separate village district board, right?
No.
This is the board, which is nice. I'm not saying it's not nice in terms of your workload, but it's nice that there's not a we had in Wilton, we did their downtown zoning, and they have P and Z, but they have a separate sort of village district board. And it seems to me that that's an overlap you don't need. You just need one board. So, and then it makes sense for site plan, and I presume you do this now anyway, that the design guidelines, you look at the design guidelines when you look at site plan, and it's all one board and it's one process. That's the way I think. Yeah.
I think more the desire is to, when you're changing from a retail store to a restaurant on Elm Street, where you're not making any changes to the building, does that really need to go to the commission? I think that's what.
I think that would be the first one.
Yeah.
There's a little low hanging fruit.
Yeah. And I think that makes sense, with one exception. Provided, it's the medical offices you've identified, and that is that if the change of use is going to a medical office, your current code says it does have to go to you because it doesn't comply with the parking requirement for the other uses. Your medical office does require more parking. Now that creates an issue there. The additional parking may not be available, but that's the only exception, I would say.
And I mean,
that makes
sense.
Unless you not allow medical offices into the retail zone, period, into the new retail zone.
I don't think we have any, do we?
No, we don't. I don't think so, but.
Should we go through
I mean,
uses or area and bulk first?
Make that a condition.
Where are we going
If
next?
medical offices
Yeah.
allowed, if medical offices are allowed in the business zone, then there's a set of criteria, including parking, that they have to satisfy.
Parking would be the difference place. Okay, yeah.
It might make sense to do uses first ahead
So
of area
let's,
and bulk.
so let's, we can go through uses, and
Okay.
Emily, you'll go through uses and
Okay.
area and bulk.
You can skip
Then we'll come back.
area and bulk
Dan, we'll come back.
pages, I guess, and we'll go to the uses.
Yeah.
Please show me what page I should, what page.
Okay, yeah, all right,
So
let's-
the tables that have the green and yellow on them,
So
you want
is-
to open up both of those. One is the existing,
Existing and proposed.
and one is proposed.
But I didn't know if there was an option A and an option B on the proposed, because you're describing an option A and option B, but there's only one proposed in right now.
I think they only made option A, and they need to talk to you guys about a potential option B.
Yeah, we need to talk
Oh,
to you
yeah,
about
so
that.
we didn't know which ones would
I just
be-
thought maybe I was missing.
Yeah,
it.
if there
Yeah.
were 3 categories, which way to put them, but like right now, we did it based on how things are written. So you also accompany these 2 tables, you have the existing schedule of uses in New Canaan conditions, and then you also have the proposed conditions.
Yep.
So essentially, the one that's existing, we went through your code and we went through all the sections. Right now, there's no table in there. We went through each of the descriptions of every zone, and we mapped them out here, and we put the conditions into notes. And then we did the same thing. We tried to consolidate those 2 retail zones together into one retail zone, and those 4 business zones into one business zone. And so this is our initial crack at which uses should be allowed in each of those zones, based on what was there before, but also with a little bit of revision. Does anyone want to start with questions, since I think you've had time to review this?
Well, I have it. Dan, have you reviewed it? 'Cause
Not yet.
the thing that took me
I
a
reviewed
minute to figure out that I think will be helpful to you, and maybe we just walk through this,
Okay.
but where it says, see the little numbers, 1, 2,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
referring to these.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
that.
like
Okay, that I didn't understand at first. I was like,
Yeah,
why is there?
Sorry, they're
two-
separate documents.
Yeah,
So that actually, we did talk about this like internally as well. And so Suzanne was previously talking about how the use table would be formatted in the code
Mhm.
and maybe is going to show, are you going to show an example or?
I can if you.
Yeah, we were thinking of in the actual code, when we write the code, it won't be written as these little notes. This is just for tonight's
Right.
presentation to you. We would have a column that would refer to the section of the code where those conditions are listed. And
Where
those
this-
conditions would be listed under each of the, either the business zone or the retail zone.
Okay.
So it would
And you
direct
have this in
directly where
text
you go.
now, so we keep
Yeah.
a lot of that text.
all right, so in the retail or under retail, the first item is retail businesses, including food retail shops, specialty retail sales such as antiques, art galleries. So basically you're kind of bunching all of our retail, most of our retail uses into one thing that in the purple retail zone would be allowed by site plan if they're smaller than 5,000 square feet and would require a special permit if they're 5,000 to 10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And it would be the same in the business zone, the yellow area. You would need only a site plan approval up to 10,000 square feet. So basically,
In the
Is there
business
a-
zone, there's no up
It's
to
just-
10,000 square.
It could be
There's
as
no
big as
10,000.
Oh,
FAR
it's just-
allows.
oh, I see. So 1
Yeah,
and
and
2
so,
don't
like-
apply.
Yeah,
Yeah, and this is coming from, so the proposed retail comes directly from what you have in retail A's conditions currently. And then the other zones, business A and business C currently permit retail without any condition.
Okay, so there would be no square footage upper limit there is no square footage upper limit right now in the business zones, and there would be
Yeah.
no square footage.
Well, of course, there is in reality because
Lot size.
yeah, FAR.
coverage height creates an FAR and you gotta,
Well, no, so we have
you
FAR.
have
Yeah, that-
FAR
we
We
have
don't
that.
have.
and you have
Um,
it, you have it, so.
Would it be helpful, and I don't know, I may be able to do it off the top of my head. Is it helpful for you all if we specifically say what is new in this versus what was pulled? Because I think
Yes.
most of this was just pulled.
Yeah, we
and
just-
Yeah.
Rewritten. There's not a lot of like, oh, we're suggesting you now allow 20,000 square foot office buildings. Like most of the conditions are the same. We just, I think, got rid of like some fluff, for lack of a better, and we just narrowed it down to make it clearer. So I don't know if that's helpful or if you got,
Yes and no. I mean, I think it's
Okay.
also good to look at everything with
Okay.
fresh
Yeah.
eyes and,
Right.
recognize that we don't have an upper limit. I mean, I'm not saying
Yeah,
we
yeah.
should, but that we don't have an upper limit in the business zones on retail uses.
Yeah, well, we can go through them. I could try to go through them quickly one by one.
Yeah, I think just go
Yes,
down the
I would
list
like
and
that.
let's talk about
Okay.
that.
So, yes, that's the first one. We did lump a few of the retail categories together and the actual text that's in the code later, it could be as specific as it is now with all of these lumped things together, or we could modify that to just be more general without giving all the examples of types of retail.
I almost wonder if just like having a definition would make
Yeah.
more sense. Just say
Okay, yeah.
retail business,
Includes
have a
the following.
definition.
Yeah.
But not in this, not in the table.
Not in
Like,
the
go
table,
with-
yeah.
go with
right.
definitions
Definitions,
and then.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I
By
think
the
Gary
way-
wanted you to see where we lumped those ones.
And
Sarah,
that's
do you
the
ever have
direction.
trouble determining whether something's a retail business?
I mean, like one is art galleries a little bit, like there are some, but I
Yeah.
think,
I mean, I would consider those retail though.
Yeah,
So if we
but-
put that in the definition.
yeah, well, because I think right now it's like art galleries is noted in, I think it's business B or retail B, but not in retail A, but then we have a bunch in retail A, but why isn't it called out, but it is in the other one, so
Okay.
general would be better, especially
Agreed.
for retail
Yeah, I think
business.
what
but-
Sarah's saying, we're finding in other codes, we generally like to do more, a retail is sort of more inclusive rather than this long list. So that you get retail and the definition says what's included in it.
Right, and then there are like, so the next one down is also retail, but it's a little bit more specific to things like garden supplies, hardware, lumber, and products that have extensive storage areas. So currently in your code, these are allowed in the business E area and the business D area, which are the dark green and the dark purple color on your zoning map. So now these would also be allowed in areas that are currently zoned business A and business C.
I can see a small hardware store is fine. I'm not sure we're gonna get any, but it's the
It's the
extensive
lumber and
storage
garden
areas
supplies.
is hitting me, and
That's-
that we want to be.
But I mean, it says without extensive
Without.
storage areas,
I
which is
wanna know how-
I think I
counterintuitive.
said with, I'm sorry.
What does
It says
extensive
with.
mean is where I would come from.
No, it says without,
I'm looking at
or other
But if
products
you look
without.
at
footnote number 3,
Oh,
retail sales of garden supplies, hardware, lumber, other, and may require extensive storage areas. I don't,
Yeah, I think it's a typo on our part.
I mean,
Do you have?
So-
that
you gotta
zoning
realize
code?
the two zones,
We have the total code here.
the two zones that we established in the current zoning
yeah, it
code.
says without.
I think, yeah, but I think both of these say which may require, so it might be.
Take a look.
Okay, so it's supposed to be with.
I'm not
Makes sense.
sure. I'll take a look now if it's
Yeah.
supposed to be with or without, but that's
Good
um,
catch.
Just,
Big difference.
just to say it, I mean, to be clear, the business D and the business B zones, we deliberately define those zones to incorporate characteristics or uses like a large lumber yard or others as a sort of a catch zone because of their, I won't say industrial, but industrial-like nature.
Yeah.
And I'm
Was
worried
the
that,
industrial zone back in the day, so.
I understand,
Yeah.
but
Well, that's way back in the
I'm
day.
worried about incorporating them into the general business B without enough guardrails on them to
Mhm.
allow, to, number one, allow them to exist in the areas where they were currently being proposed, B and D, but not do it in such a way that it opens a can of worms for the rest of business B to provide those types of uses.
So would it
And
be like
scale
a
of
minimum
uses.
lot size or a minimum?
Well, so, I mean,
maximum store
to
size?
back it up a little bit, in theory, you probably don't want any more in New Canaan today under current zoning. So maybe it's just has to be established before this date. And if it wasn't established after this date, you can't go and,
Yeah.
And
And we
Or
could
maybe,
also,
or maybe you leave B and D.
yeah, we
And
could.
you could also do that, yeah.
Yeah, in
Right.
business B and D currently, this is correct. It says retail sales of garden supplies, hardware, lumber, or other products which may require extensive storage areas, but shall not include outdoor storage of
But
use.
not include outdoor
So it
storage.
can have, which may require extensive storage areas, but not include outdoor storage areas, which is the same as how
We
it's written
consider
here.
that covered part of.
But I mean,
But it
don't
does,
they have
that's exactly what they have.
extensive outdoor
They
storage?
have
But I
outdoor
think that
storage of
because
wheat
it's
and Verrier.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know
no,
how
but they
that.
have outdoor storage.
Yeah,
Well,
I would
Verrier
consider
did
that
that.
outdoor storage. I
they
don't
clearly
understand.
do.
That would not be
Wheat and
able
Verrier
to,
has it, absolutely.
I guess it's a interpretation question, but
Yeah.
it would not be, new uses would not be able to do that, given this current definition of outdoors, depending how you interpret the outdoor storage, not requiring outdoor storage areas.
I mean, not requiring, you can not require it and still have it.
I'm sorry, I
You
mean,
know.
not allowing.
Not
Yeah.
allowing.
Yeah,
Or
not
not,
allowing,
okay.
not including outdoor storage.
All right, so I think we need to come back to this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Figure out a way to limit it more, especially if we're going with the revised map that lumps all the districts together.
Yeah, and if
So,
we
yeah.
come to the end of it and you like the idea of having B and D as a single business zone, as a third,
I
zone,
wouldn't
that
do
would
it
be
just
fine
for this,
as well.
but let's
Yeah.
see what else comes
Yeah,
up.
see what
Mhm.
else.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one is car dealerships. And in your existing zoning, you have two items that talk about car dealerships that have, one says new car dealerships without on-site repairs, outdoor storage or auto parts or inoperable motor vehicles, and another one that says new car dealerships, including a motor vehicle repair garage and or sale of used cars. So we tried to kind of combine these into one category, that's car dealerships. And then in the conditions document, we compiled a lot of those conditions that were separated here. So currently, new car dealerships are allowed in the retail B zone, business A, business B, business C, and business D, with various levels of conditions. So as I mentioned, we consolidated them here, and we also thought that car dealerships should be by special permit.
I agree with all of that, and I
Yeah.
would also cross off on the end of condition B, health clubs, spas, and other indoor athletic facilities.
And
Yes.
we were wondering,
That is really weird and
Is
makes
there
no
an
sense.
example of why that exists?
No,
'Cause
idea.
we're-
I think
we're
it's a
curious
typo.
about-
I think it's
okay.
gotta be a typo.
We're saying we've never seen a health club in a car
Yeah.
dealership. There's a
Yeah.
first for everything,
Yeah.
so.
So we should strike that, yeah.
Although I did hear that Jeep was considering one.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
That's good
It's
clarification.
gotta be
We were
pulled from
wondering.
somewhere else, yeah.
But yes, I think that's definitely a special permit use.
Yeah, for sure.
Very
Yeah.
much so. Possibility for significant externalities.
Okay, special permit, right.
And I would also add on that, because I went through and made a list, I checked definitions. We do not have any definition of car dealership. I'm not sure if we need one, but I'm just pointing out, I think if we're gonna simplify our uses, and we have
Define
shorter
it.
lists of uses, then maybe we should make sure we have definitions of them.
Okay.
We only have 3 dealerships in town, I remember.
Used to.
We still do. What about the one was on
We have
Biddy
2.
Street, the antique? The guy with the
Yeah, I
antique
think
cars?
so.
Oh, he's not a dealership though.
What he has cars for
And then we got
sale.
Polestar.
Yeah,
He does store them.
we have Polestar, we have Chevy, and we
Yeah.
have Cultivated Collector.
Yeah, that's it, those 3.
It's a lot for such a small,
Well, we
It's a
like our,
lot
we like
for
our
a-
cars. in-
We used to have 2 others.
oh wow.
Okay.
We used to have Ford and we used to have Moto Guzzi.
Super.
And we had the motorcycle guys too.
Moto Guzzi.
Yeah. Okay, so next we have supermarkets. The backstory behind this one is in your current code, you have a green grocers not to exceed gross floor area of 10,000 square feet. And then you also have supermarkets not to exceed 30,000 gross square feet. And then you also have supermarkets. And, so the green grocers are allowed in retail B and all of the business zones. Supermarkets not to exceed 30,000 gross square feet are allowed in business A, and supermarkets are allowed by special permit in business B. We felt that supermarkets should just be allowed in the business zone. And we thought that the retail food shops are covered in retail for the retail zone.
So the green grocer is a thing of the past. That was Mrs. Green's.
I'm not sure what, we have sales, we have, Le Pain Quotidien, which sells bread, we have.
Yeah.
other
But that's
places
a
that sell
restaurant.
food
That's a
for-
restaurant.
That would be part of the retail, including.
It'd be just
food
retail,
shops.
Yeah.
incidental?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I think the only question for the commission would be, do you feel the need to put a size limit on it, or is FAR
Size
enough?
limit, and I was wondering if
Yes.
supermarket shouldn't be a special permit because of
Yes.
the
Yes,
traffic.
Similar to car
anything
dealership.
big should be a special permit.
Okay.
I think that's where you're going with
So
it.
make a special permit.
Special permit, and then I don't know if it's a special permit, do we also need a size limit, or do we
No, I
eliminate
would
that through
be-
the special permit process?
I think it would be helpful to have a size.
I
for
think
a
so, too.
Supermarket, yeah.
Greater
But
than
it's currently
5,
30, what is?
No, 5 is
In
tiny.
one of the
I mean, it's
zones,
currently
limited to
30,000.
10.
Only in
I
business
did a
A.
little research, like a typical Trader Joe's is like 30,000.
That's what Emily just
I
said
mean,
in
we've already
business
got
A,
30,000
it's
limit
not
in
to
there.
exceed 30,000, so you could take
Yeah.
that from business A.
I would just leave the 30,000 limit in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so it'd be special permit not to exceed 30,000 square feet in the
Yeah.
business zone.
okay. Not to exceed.
Not to exceed, yeah.
Yes,
No, words matter in zoning.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, the words matter. I agree.
because I
The
just want to
next
make sure we don't get
category of
anything.
uses.
Yeah.
The next category of uses is personal services, service establishments and offices. First, we felt that you have a variety of different types of offices listed in your code. You have general offices listed alone, then you have general and medical offices listed together, and then you have medical offices. We thought it was important to distinguish between offices and medical offices, and also to simplify the term general offices to just be offices. So these, we've carried over some of the conditions that you had in your current zones. So currently you have in business B, you have general offices with a set of conditions. In retail A and B, you have general and medical offices with a set of conditions. In business A, you have a different set of conditions. Business C, another set of conditions, and then medical offices are by special permit with a set of conditions in business B and another set of conditions in business D. So we tried to streamline this a little bit and simplify it. From what we were hearing earlier, you're not interested in having medical offices in the retail zone?
I think not.
We do have some.
Where?
In retail?
In retail?
Yeah, we have, Litzy, the dermatologist. She's on
We
more.
have Stretch Lab.
She's on the
Upstairs.
second floor.
Upstairs.
That's not,
So,
And next to it is I think an ophthalmologist.
Yeah, but that's
office.
second floor.
so the
Second floor,
dermatologist.
yes, but they're in the zone.
And the ophthalmologists, so the ophthalmologists have really, both of them honestly, have tried to shift to be personal service establishments, and they have their retail in the front. And so I was going to bring up that what I see a lot of is, that loophole. Like you have an eye doctor on Forest. You've also got one right on Eyes on Elm. I think that's the name of it.
And there's the expensive one on.
Technically that's a medical office, but
Right.
predates me. They
Right.
seem to go through on that. And then you have these medical spa dermatologists who, claim that they're a personal service establishment, but they're also kind of a dermatologist. So the commission needs to think about, do you want to get rid of that loophole, or are you okay with it existing and you want to make it less of a loophole? And then also with medical offices, I get a lot of calls from therapists who struggle with the parking requirement because they feel that their use is less intensive than your urgent care or your primary care because they're only seeing one patient an hour versus a medical general practitioner may be seeing 4 patients in an hour. So,
and they're looking to go into a ground floor retail space?
no, they're even just looking to go into a
Retail.
general office
Into the
building,
retail.
into a general office building that doesn't have enough parking.
Hmm.
Even though realistically it's just one practitioner, one patient.
Right.
Technically it says they need 4 spaces or based on the square footage size. So
Okay, so our current definition of medical office is an establishment engaged in the diagnosis, prevention, and or treatment of human medical conditions or mental ailments provided by persons certified or licensed by the state of Connecticut to perform such services, provided that no such office or facility shall offer services requiring overnight stays. Such establishments may include imaging centers, blood draw facilities, physical therapy, and outpatient treatment facilities.
I think, a Quest diagnosis is a little different than a
Right.
therapist's office.
Totally.
Which,
I'd agree.
I mean, the other way you could approach this is the way your code sort of approached, greengrocer, supermarket. If you could allow medical offices if you wanted to. I mean, I'm not saying.
Or we-
In other
With
words,
conditions.
under 5,000
Yeah.
square
Yeah,
feet.
so
Small.
currently you have,
Or
the
we
conditions we
could,
put here
Yeah.
are only on the,
Right.
they can't be on the first floor, they can't be more than 10,000 square feet in any one building, and any floor used for office shall be located more than 7 feet in vertical height above or below the curb level of the adjacent street.
That
Or
is
we-
just in the retail zone.
Yeah,
Right.
retail zone.
What were you gonna
or
say?
we could modify the definition of personal services to include things like a therapist or an ophthalmologist
Or dermatologist.
or a dermatologist
Yeah.
and limit it.
Yeah. I mean,
Because I don't have an issue with any of those
I
types
don't
of
either.
uses in the retail zone.
They're very low impact.
optometrists downtown, I think they're just great.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason to restrict them.
No,
And I don't have an issue with any of these
It-
conditions for.
Yeah, it might be
offices or
worth
medical
doing
offices.
both in the definition and also what you don't want, I think, is any loophole that allows a true new big medical office coming in that
Yes.
Yeah.
requires a lot of parking.
yeah, we don't want
really
Oxford
don't-
Health on the corner
you
of
don't
Elm and
want-
Main.
Yeah, yeah. So I would still say it's
Dozen
worth,
docs.
in fact, I think 10,000 square. How many, what kind of?
It should be even less, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's, I was
I was gonna
wondering
say
about
5.
5,000 square feet.
Yeah.
to tell
for
you
the
truth.
retail zone.
In the retail zone, so that you make sure that,
Which is the same as what we allow for retail.
right.
Yeah, as long as we're not talking about general office, because I think about 112 Main,
Mhm.
where obviously the second and third floors right now, they're all office space. That's more than 5,000 square feet. It's not medical office. I
No, I
believe it's
meant,
general.
I mean
office.
medical, just
Specifically?
medical
Okay.
office.
Okay, but so under 5B, not more than 10,000 square feet of total gross floor area of office shall be located in one building. That's office and medical office in retail.
Yeah, which I mean,
Some of these
112
are already
Main,
probably exceeding that.
I
So
don't
what if
know.
we just change this not more than 5,000 square feet of medical office?
Of medical, I would
I
limit.
think we have to separate the office and medical office
Well, that's
definition.
right, that's right.
Absolutely.
I think you have to separate the
Yeah.
medical office.
Yeah, I don't know that your conditions as you've done them here can work
No.
the same for
No.
medical office
No.
and office, especially if we're gonna list them as different on
I
this
think
table.
given the variety of things that can be referred to as medical office, such as estheticians, these skincare areas and so forth, it's gonna be hard to sort of separate them out. My sense is just have medical office by special permit. And if you have, let's say, an optometrist that wants to open an office in the middle of Elm Street, you know, in a small office, it's a big different deal than, you know.
You're gonna require a
stick-
special permit for that?
Well, it's,
John, what I'm trying to say is you can distinguish, you limit the size of it. You just said small
Do a
office.
size
Yeah,
limit,
if you-
that's the way
if you
that.
do a size
Yeah.
limit, like 5,000 square feet.
Okay.
By the way, your ordinary store here, I haven't done a survey, but we did do one 15 years ago. I still remember your normal store was 3,500 to 5,000 square
They're
feet.
small.
Yeah, small.
Yeah, they're small.
They're small. And if you can limit the medical office in size as well as definition, I think you're okay with them and.
Okay.
And.
If that does it, that's
I
fine.
agree. I don't think it requires a special permit.
also
It's a large practice that I worry about,
Yeah, that's right. That's
Which I
the
think
difference.
that it already requires a special permit.
like we have on Grove or East Avenue.
Yeah, or wait.
So I would limit, you all right then with the limit on 5,000 square feet
For the retail?
for the retail,
For medical office.
for medical
For
office, right?
Okay.
And then for general offices, would you keep 10,000 square feet?
Gross.
In retail. Are we just talking about in
Yeah.
retail?
Yeah, in the
Do you know
retail
where
zone.
that came from?
It comes from their code.
No, I'm sorry. I understand that. But what was the genesis of that? Do you know?
I mean, do we
Your code?
care?
Of what?
Yeah, that's what I'm,
As long as it's not
by
on
the
the
way,
first
Krista,
floor, I
that's
don't
what
know
I'm
if we
getting at.
care.
Do you care about office size?
I mean, as long as it's limited to the,
Upper floors, like why would we care if a building,
why
like
would
if
we?
all of 112 Main is 30,000 square feet on the upper floors, as long as the first floor is retail, why do I care if the upstairs is
I
30,000?
mean, unless you're trying to push housing development. I'm not saying that you are, and maybe that's why, but. Because if you limit office size, then in theory, it's more advantageous to do housing on the top floors.
I'm not sure.
Because
I'm not sure.
I'm not
that's
sure
what
that was
we
the
were
intent,
doing.
but that would be the only thing I could think of.
I would also say, I think is the bigger the practice, the more traffic you're going to bring into the street. They'll have customers come in. I think a lot of these are small offices. People work up there and they don't have a lot of people visit. If you had a large practice up there, you're going to have more people visit. It's going to create more traffic on the street.
I mean, I just think
By
about
way,
the,
I wanted to confirm, we're talking about just general office, not medical office. We
Correct.
agreed.
I agree.
General
But if
office
you-
in the retail zone.
5,000.
I mean, so sorry, what do we allow right now? I'm getting, we allow 10,000.
Of general office, just general office. And I don't see that very much. I don't know that.
I mean, it hasn't
there's
come across my
particular-
desk as an issue. I haven't
Yeah.
had any,
Of people wanting more than
Yeah,
10,000.
of people wanting more.
I can't
so-
because I
think of
think
any
it's
in
also
town
just
that big.
whatever is there is
Sizes
probably
and
legally
retail.
non-conforming, like,
Right.
112 Main, if it's over 10,000 square feet.
The
It's
only office I
allowed.
can think.
But today we're at 4,000, aren't we?
What?
So
Today we're at 4,000 according to your existing sheet. General
Uh,
office, no more than 4,000 gross square feet.
so sorry, you have to
That's
look at
medical.
footnote number 9.
General and middle.
And the existing.
Yeah, so in the existing schedule of
Okay.
uses, footnote number 9
Yeah.
is for retail A and retail B, and it's general and medical office, provided that,
Is that
offices.
existing?
yeah, that's the existing one.
Existing 9, okay.
On the back of the first page.
The first floor of any building. Well, we do have that with brokerage offices.
Well, yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what
I am
about
not,
those?
I'm not a fan of
I don't,
brokerage offices on
I've
the
never
ground
had a
floor down.
realtor, in my time here, I've never had a realtor reach out to me about it. They've all predated me.
Right.
I'm not sure how they ended up there.
Right, because we don't allow
Oh.
office on the first floor.
Oh,
in
a
the
real
retail.
estate office is on
We have 3.
first floor on Elm Street. The agency,
There's the agency, there's the one on the corner, what is it?
Oh,
Brotherhood
Yeah,
and
with their
Higley,
windows.
that old
I don't think
building.
that's retail. I mean, you
A
could
real
argue,
estate office?
yeah, it's not retail.
There's the one on the corner of Main and Elm.
What is it selling?
Houses?
Out of the store?
Well, if you're walking into Ralph Lauren and they don't have something for you, they're ordering it for you out of the store.
But you could buy something out of the store. I cannot buy a
could.
house in a store.
But it's retail. I mean, every one of our real estate brokers are ground floor.
Yeah, no, I
Which
mean,
I'm
and
not
other
wild
towns are
about.
like that. I'm not saying.
I agree with you.
They need
It
I wouldn't want to see more of that.
sucks traffic out of the downtown area. Foot traffic.
They want to be on the ground floor because of the visibility of their.
Well, they like
advertising.
advertising the
agree.
houses, you
Yeah.
know, they've got them in the
Yeah.
windows.
But I wouldn't want to see more of them. Whatever's there is there.
Well, we have one on Elm Street, but that's across from this train station. I'm kind of okay with that.
I mean, that's not retail. That's not the
Exactly.
retail
And we
zone
have
anymore.
one on, well, it's not retail, it's the one on
Well, you have the
Cherry
one on
Street.
Cherry now.
by
Also not.
by the B
retail.
of A parking lot.
I think that's a definition question. When we
Yeah,
get to the
just
definition of retail,
clarifying.
we should definitely
Yeah.
look at that, yeah.
But back to office, I don't think we resolved it. I don't bring to this any, it's just a requirement you have now, and I guess, Sarah, you're saying it kind of has not been a problem.
It hasn't been, I can't think of any unintended consequences of getting rid of it off the top of my head.
Getting rid of it.
The
10,000
10,000
square
cap
foot
for the
limitation.
retail. Because I mean, the lots
For
are so
retail?
small. The
Sorry,
lots
for
are-
office, not
For
retail.
office.
Yeah, for
not
office on
retail.
the second
Upper
floor.
floor office.
Yeah.
All the lots are so small.
The
Most of
5B.
them,
Yeah.
are built out already.
The only big larger offices than that I could think of are all medical. There's the one on East Avenue.
But that's not in
And
the
there's
retail
Grove.
zone.
Yeah, we're only talking about the retail. zone.
Yeah.
Those are the only offices that are all medical. I can't think of any.
112 Main is the biggest in the retail zones.
Yeah.
Which is already all office.
Right.
So,
Well, the only place where it could exist currently is in the ones on Locust, which is Business C, which we're talking about putting into the business zone.
But we're talking
no,
about
we're talking
retail
about the
right
retail
now.
zone.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
retail.
Yeah, yeah.
And Locust that wouldn't be in the
I
retail.
mean, it would
zone.
have to
Do any
be,
of those buildings on Locust, can they support that? Anything
I mean,
that
if-
big?
No, so we're talking about
Office space
office space
in the retail zone.
The retail.
Yeah.
So the old ski shop building where Hamachi or whatever it is right
Oh.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got two floors above that, 2 floors. Could that support it? I mean, that's the only candidate in the retail zone that could get that big.
What about the one just south of Burtis? The red brick building which they rehabbed? There are the restaurants on
Oh,
the
those are both
ground
office.
floor.
Yeah.
They're office above,
All
which
office.
is
Yeah.
all office. And I think that's probably over 10,000 if I added
Probably.
it
Where,
up.
where Spiga is that?
yeah.
Which one?
Spiga.
Where Spiga is?
One in
Yeah,
south,
there's
yeah,
a hair
above
salon.
that. It's all office.
By the way, it hasn't been a problem. We don't, I didn't mean to raise it as a,
No,
it's
That's
not
okay.
not a big issue.
I don't
We
think it's a
argue
big
about this
issue.
stuff all the time.
Yeah.
We could leave it just the way it is if you want.
I'd say leave it and put a question mark.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll
Okay.
put a star next to it to come
All
back to
right.
later.
Yep.
But separating medical from the rest of
The
office
medical should be
is
separated.
absolutely
Yeah. And a special.
appropriate, I would agree.
Okay, so
Okay.
maybe now we could look at the offices and medical offices and the business zones.
Yeah.
So on the proposed conditions sheet, those are notes 6 and 7. So essentially, it would be allowed for offices and medical offices whose total gross floor area does not exceed 10,000 square feet, and then by special permit when the gross floor area exceeds 10,000 square feet in
I
the
think that's
business
fine.
zones.
I think that's good.
I mean, the only, not to make everything complicated, but does the commission want to see the potential of, I mean, I think about like Pine Street, that those buildings that just got built up, you could end up with a 30,000 square foot medical office building there if they go get a special permit. So the special permit criteria either need to be tightened up, or do you put a cap on the size of the building?
Yeah.
The same way supermarkets has a cap. Or is it only in existing office buildings? Like you can't go construct a new office building.
Because I do think there are sites that are prime for redevelopment. I don't know if they'll be redeveloped anytime soon, but over by.
Yeah, I mean,
Acme,
just
over by Pine
Taking
Street.
Pine Street as an example, you've
Yeah.
got Pine
Yeah.
Street Capital that just redid that first building.
Yeah,
The other two buildings are prime targets, and we already had
Exactly.
people coming in for redevelopment of those.
Yep.
As potential residential, but there's plenty of New Canaanites that would love to see their home office in a
Mhm.
building there. And, that could easily turn into a 4-story office building that had multiple
I think
tenants.
we should consider an upper
An
limit.
upper limit.
An upper limit on
Uh,
the,
medical.
On
office,
medical, I think.
yeah.
Medical for the special permit specifically.
No more than what?
I mean, maybe
Uh,
BFJ
uh,
could do some research on,
Oh.
Yeah, I
Right.
can tell you from experience, we've had, this is Norwalk a little bit. I would not go higher than 30,000. It's
Probably
the
go
same,
less
I
than
know it's
that.
the same as them.
Well, that, I mean, that's what we
30,000
have
gross area.
for grocery store.
But we can look, we
Yeah.
can look at what
Yeah.
IT has for parking, and they have different types of medical
I
offices.
mean, don't you imagine that some of the 1970s brick buildings, such as the ones that are being potentially converted to a hotel right now, those are probably more, I have no idea how many square feet of office any of those are, but some of them are big.
30.
yeah.
I would not want to see more of that style of development. I think that might have been a weak moment in the 1970s that we
Mhm.
probably should never repeat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the market is demanding that
Would
right
support
now,
it either.
but
This is a small
I think
office
those say
market.
actually containing a gross floor area of not more than 35,000 square feet was what you had for business C.
Okay.
for business C.
Business
okay.
C?
Oh, yeah. Oh, look, I even wrote myself a note, upper limit of 35,000.
we
Guys,
can-
we could do this so much faster if I would just read what I wrote.
So I guess the only question would be, obviously we have the FAR limit. I would
Put
just
it
be
down, though.
curious on some of our like larger
35?
business zones. Is the FAR already limiting that or,
I see.
you know,
Yeah.
You could test.
Why don't we keep the 35,000 for now?
Yeah.
And then
Like
test out some of these
FAR,
larger
yeah.
sites. The larger site, what's the coverage in FAR, that type of thing.
All right.
Okay.
Next up is banks. I have some things to say about banks.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Number one, we have no definition of banks, and this has been a problem one time that I can think of in the past. And number two, you don't have any conditions on here about banks. I'm not sure, I'm assuming that means we don't in our existing regulation.
we do not.
We do not.
Yeah.
But I do think we should, I don't understand how we have, I mean, we do have banks with drive-throughs, some attached, some not attached. And I do think drive-throughs at banks should require some sort of special permit.
Mhm.
So I think we
Okay.
need to,
That would just be in the business zone, probably.
We can think of two drive-throughs. There's the B of A one by Acme, and there's JP Morgan.
right? There's the one over,
Doesn't Wells Fargo have one? Is that Wells Fargo?
Wells
Wells
Fargo has
Fargo
one
has
in
a
the back.
drive-through.
yeah.
That's three.
Again, like what's there is there, but I just, going forward,
So you don't want
But-
drive-through in the retail zone. And then if they do a drive-through, you want it by special permit.
that's what I would
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, for a bank, I can
In the
define
retail
a
zone?
bank for you.
No,
In the business zone.
Business zone.
Yeah,
So,
you said retail.
So add conditions
Business
for the
zone,
retail zone of no drive-throughs and then special permit for drive-throughs in the
in the
business
business
zone.
zone.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Now that would apply to banks or to food establishments as well.
Well, so food, we just don't allow drive-throughs.
Yeah.
Period. Good.
Keep it that way.
Yeah, keep it that way.
Yeah, it's not like Starbucks. or
Is that
anything like
condition in the proposed?
it's in the
it in
restaurant
the
definition, I
definition?
believe.
Okay.
So what about,
Basically, our restaurant definition says it's eaten only.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
no,
fine.
no fast food drive-through.
I'm thinking about the wild card here, which is the old TD Bank across from Carl. And, that's come before us now 2 times, 3
Twice.
times?
Right, yeah.
It's gonna be a third time tomorrow.
Is it?
Oh, yeah, third time
Another
tomorrow.
pet grooming?
Pet. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Well, so
tomorrow.
no, so it's this,
They want a
we'll
modification.
talk about it tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
About it tomorrow.
Talk about tomorrow.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
So next is personal
Banks,
service.
well, I'm
Oh,
banks.
sorry.
bank.
I remember the argument which I brought up. This was when the Merrill Lynch office wanted to go in. They said it's a bank. And I said, it's not a bank. And he said, yes, it is. Well, it's not.
It was an argument whether it was a retail
An
use or an
office
office
or- okay.
use.
It's not a bank. So if you want to get fussy, a bank is an entity, legal entity that has a license as a bank that's FDIC insured with either a state or a federal license. That's it.
So we need a
Add that
That's
definition.
a bank.
definition,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we need-
I made a
Anything
note.
else, something else.
Yeah.
Yes. agreed.
Okay.
It's real easy to define a bank. I'll say that.
All right, so personal service establishments and service establishments.
Yep. So this was another one where you had these two different uses in your existing code with lots of various conditions. And so we tried to consolidate those here into just personal service establishments and service establishments. And so these would be permitted in retail with condition number 8 on the proposed conditions list. So this would be permitted on the first floor in accordance with the following guidelines. A retail component must be located along the entire tenancy facing the street, except for an access or common hallway to the street line. These are from your existing retail district. Personal service establishments cannot be located along any portion of the building's frontage except for an access or common hallway leading to the establishment, and the retail area must be a minimum of 15 feet in depth, measured from exterior building line, or 20% of total floor area, whichever is greater. Anything less than 15 feet in depth is subject to administrative approval. And then there's 2 more conditions there. The space may be occupied by one tenant with multiple permitted uses, provided that the requirements in these other sections of the code are also met, which we'll have to do a little bit of cross-referencing and cleanup when we get into the actual code. And then operations which involve outdoor storage. Is this the right one? Yeah. Outdoor storage equipment, supplies, or products shall be located on a lot containing at least, I'm reading something wrong.
No, I don't think so.
That's right. That's in there. I checked
It's
it.
gotta be a one-off from
Gotta be a
some random
one-off, which is weird.
specific.
Yeah.
So Sarah, give
Yeah.
me an example of a service establishment that we have. I know what personal service is. We have a lot of those.
So, I mean, I have a similar question to you. I can't think of I mean, I guess a service.
I mean, even
establishment
reading
is
the
maybe like a
definition.
tailor.
We talked
Yeah.
about like a
Yeah.
photographer.
A
Studio,
photographer.
I think, like
Okay.
a portrait photographer or something.
Because I mean,
So I think that's why they got combined, because
okay.
we
I'm just
allow them
wondering if-
essentially the same way. And
How do you currently say you have a tailor or cleaners or?
Well, so it
Normally
can't, the
that
service
would be a personal
establishment
service.
by definition can't be a dry cleaner. It can't be
Yeah.
a
It can't
be
rug or
a-
carpet
Yeah.
cleaning business. It can't be an undertaker or any service which operates heavy equipment. So
Yeah.
I don't know that we have any uses that are service establishments. And I'm wondering if we need service establishments or if it's just personal service.
maybe we don't need service establishments.
Because I just,
Yeah.
I can't conceive of what it is.
I can't either.
I can't,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
normally.
what is it?
If I look at the list,
You may
we
have
have-
defined it differently. Personal service establishments are all kinds of services, from nail salons
No,
to,
but
you know.
services.
We're struggling with what
we
is
know what
service.
personal
Yeah.
service is. But
Yeah.
we have a definition just for service establishments.
yeah.
Separate from
What I'm
personal
trying to
service.
say is, a lot of codes we see now don't distinguish.
Service?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
would
They don't
maybe we-
consider,
distinguish. They just
remove
say
service.
service establishments. I
okay.
don't know that you have to distinguish.
I think we should consider just going to personal service establishments.
I agree.
Yeah, if I look at the other
Allow-
specialty
allow
sales,
those
some of these have significant externalities. You mentioned dry cleaners already, laundries, appliance repair. I mean, I don't know anyone who repairs appliances anymore. It's sort of like a livery stable. We don't do it. But some of these have,
Yeah.
you take apart a refrigerator, you can have some toxic stuff in there, and I just don't think you want that around. I would be wary of approving it
So
by
that,
just
All right, so
site
we're
plan.
jumping ahead.
yeah, so that's the next, that's 2 from now.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, so that was for,
So-
all of these conditions here are for personal service establishments and retail. It sounds like some of them are a little bit,
Do you think we should look at E and figure out if we still need E for
Yeah.
personal establishments and personal
Yeah.
service
I
establishments?
don't think are there any lots that are 80,000 square feet?
Oh,
in
E.
retail?
Probably not.
The weird
E?
condition about
Yeah, but
operations
I wonder if I
involving
carried
outdoor
that
storage.
No, I
Where that
don't
would
think so. I
apply.
think we,
it was personal
Yeah.
service.
Service establishments.
Kind of an odd.
Probably should be
Condition.
looking at a laundry.
Proposed. What number are we on?
We're on
8E.
8E. I think,
8 Echo, okay.
I think I think it probably did have a purpose. I don't think it's like the health clubs in auto part stores, but
No, but would that apply to Hoyt Livery? With a lot
Yeah, it's here.
having all of their limousines
There are limos there, it's a good
parked in a
point.
lot?
Like, yeah,
Maybe that's what it's
outdoor
addressing.
storage.
it depends. Was this actually pulled from retail?
It
or
was
from-
pulled from retail A.
So doesn't
Personal
apply to
services
Hoyt livery,
It doesn't, but. it could.
but I mean, it maybe
Right.
should.
yeah, how would we characterize that use?
But maybe
Parking.
that's a service.
Maybe that is a service establishment.
And then the other comment I had is, We have
I don't know how old. Neighbor is.
automotive
Predates
services
us.
with outdoor storage of used without outdoor storage of used auto parts or inoperable vehicles. Do we need, just like we have car dealerships, do we need a separate definition of just automotive repair?
Automotive repair, yeah.
Not part of personal services or
That would be a
services.
yeah.
I mean, if we're moving AC Auto Body and C&H into the business zones, maybe we do. And with the gas
I
stations.
think we do, because they do collision. You got,
Yeah.
They have cars on their lot.
yep, they
So
do. They have all those
Dan,
things.
would you say that again then? Auto services, you're saying here,
Automotive repair services.
automotive repair.
Needs a
right.
definition.
And a use. And so that would be in the business zone by special permit or by,
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Special permit, I
Similar
think
to a
so.
supermarket or a car dealership.
I think so.
And the same idea of the no outdoor storage of parts that.
Don't know that. The parts for sure, but
The vehicles would have.
the
to be
vehicles, they
stored.
need to have outdoor storage.
Yeah, okay.
But I
The
mean,
parts, no.
you kind of get into a little bit of like, can tires be outside? You
Yeah,
know,
I
like
mean-
you get, these are the questions I get asked.
I know,
I know.
know.
You get them all.
So you just gotta.
I don't
be
know the
careful.
answer. We'll have to dig into that one.
So, okay, so we skipped pet grooming. I'm fine with pet grooming as it is.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, that's,
And
yeah.
then we went down to the other specialty sales.
But it should be pet grooming without boarding.
So that's
I
in
think-
condition 9.
That's,
It says it in
Yeah, so
footnote 9.
SP9?
Yeah,
Yeah.
grooming facilities, yeah.
Got it, yep.
Without
The,
boarding.
the only entities that do boarding in town that I can think of for pets are really the 2 veterinary offices.
Mhm. Mhm.
They have to by nature.
What
No,
are
I'm
they?
serious.
So that,
Do they? I don't think they do.
so actually.
No, they
don't
do.
have-
Yeah,
I
it
think
doesn't
they
have-
do.
it
We
needs to be
don't have
added.
that.
I think they do.
Oh.
May have
That
an
needs to be
animal
in there.
overnight that's ill and recovering
Yeah,
from
without-
surgery. They
so,
want to
so vets are, I forgot that.
veterinary.
Our medical office definition, should that include animals? Because right now it says human only.
No, veterinary should be a separate definition.
Okay, so then that needs to be added into the table as a,
That's
As a
fine.
use.
Yeah.
of
as a
business
use.
zone.
Yeah.
What would you like to see that as? Is it currently, are there currently uses in the retail area that are veterinarians?
No, it's all
just
They're not
business.
retail.
No, it's
I mean,
They're
could we,
business zone.
instead
Business.
of being pet grooming facilities, could it be like
Pet
something
grooming and
clearer,
veterinary.
just like, yeah, something like that? And then, we have the conditions for non-vet offices and then conditions for the vet offices.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say pet grooming and veterinary and then
And then separate,
yeah,
if you need.
so
different
pet grooming / veterinary.
but separate conditions for that.
Separate conditions,
I
special
would
permit.
flip that, say veterinary / pet grooming, because we have more vets in
Okay,
town than we do pet
veterinary.
groomers.
/ pet
Or, I
grooming.
mean, maybe
Yeah,
it shouldn't
true.
say pet grooming because technically, right now, it's a pet supply business with an accessory use for pet
Right.
grooming. So we shouldn't have a
You're right.
full principal use of pet grooming.
Uh-huh.
So,
Pet supply and veterinary
It
services?
says such facilities must operate as an accessory use to the primary business.
yeah, so
The condition,
if everything
yeah.
else is a principal use in this table, maybe it's
True.
not
Yeah.
appropriate to have an accessory use.
So the primary use though is retail in those cases of the pet stores.
Mhm.
Yeah, they sell
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
Veterinary though,
I mean, that's what, like pet services, and then just have a definition.
veterinary care though is a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Veterinary care is- Veterinary care really is almost a type of medical care.
It is
For
medical.
pets.
And are kept overnight, so they do.
I mean, I would assume,
It is, but I think it deserves its own definition and its own.
Maybe
use.
it's a separate issue and maybe
but
it's.
I mean, at the end of the day, the use and why it matters is it comes down to parking intensity.
Right.
Is the parking and traffic intensity of a vet office the same as a medical
I
office?
think so.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think you have people coming and going.
We can
as
check.
much.
All day long.
You do.
Out of vet.
We'll check.
Are there that many
You know what? We can
veterinarians?
check
Oh,
ITE
God,
and
yeah.
parking.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We'll check the
They're gonna
veterinary
look it up.
office
The
on.
the biggest franchise opportunity in America is being something
Do you
associated
guys
with
have any
pets.
questions about
And you get
this specifically, like this?
medical
topic?
emergencies in the
Because I
middle of the
think
night
next steps
too.
would be like you
My
coming back to
dog's,
us with
you know,
a
coughing up
recommendation.
blood.
of how
What
to
do I
handle
do?
it.
Yeah,
You
so that's
guys are
fine.
good? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. we
That's
can look
fine.
at what would make sense, rather than just arbitrarily.
There are
saying-
24/7 vets.
Okay, so we'll
And whether
table
it fits
that.
more into medical
Yeah.
office or
right.
pet,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
Okay.
Devil's in the
Okay,
details
so,
for us.
You guys are doing some more work, I guess, on
Yeah.
pet services and veterinary, on other specialty sales, the next line down, and services with all of these other things. I agree they don't belong in the retail, they only belong in the business. I'm wondering if those shouldn't be special permit, just given the nature of the types of things we're talking about here.
Services.
The services, dry
General
cleaners,
services.
laundries, automotive
I mean,
repair.
to clarify, these ones are currently permitted in your business D and business B, which I guess you would expect since those were kind of your older industrial.
By
zones.
special
So
permit
this-
though, or by?
Just,
site plan?
just permitted.
By site plan, okay.
So this is another one where maybe you do want that separate
Yeah,
zone for those,
Or-
and then you allow them, or you want to allow them by special permit anywhere in the business.
yeah.
It's just, what is specialty sales, you know, like
What is what?
specialty sales?
I don't know.
Like, we don't,
I don't know what that means.
Where do you see that?
It's at the beginning.
at the
Other
beginning, other
specialty
specialty sales, because then, you know, it's,
Right here.
Oh,
it's
here.
this discretionary thing of,
Other specialty sales and services.
if you make it a special permit, what is specialty sales versus just retail sales, and what in theory is getting just my staff stamp approval versus, oh, sorry, you're kicking it with a special
I mean,
permit.
to me, these are things that are heavier in, not industrial, but using chemicals, using
Yeah.
fuel.
Like commercial.
Anything like that, I say it'd be a special permit.
I think
it's-
that, I think
There's so
that's
many
the
things that could fall
solution.
into
To me,
it.
like service establishment, you know, not as sales, this is,
Oh, this is your service establishment
I
category?
kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
How I'm
you
reading
could
this.
make these though a special permit.
I would make these a special permit.
I would, yeah.
But
Yeah.
you want to separate the automotive repair.
Yes,
Yes.
So that one would still
It's
be.
also
its own.
gonna be.
That would still
Dry
be separate.
cleaner,
Yeah, the rest can fit.
appliance
I would just
repair,
separate
automotive
automotive.
repair.
Because it's a special permit
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
in
think that's what
the
you said.
business
yeah.
zone, so how is that different than everything else on this list?
because it'll have different criteria for the automotive.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
But just like a different condition, or no,
Yes.
we're making a
Because I
separate
mean, in
line?
either case, like you don't want chemicals stored outside, you don't. Like, I guess I'd have to see the conditions to say that
Yeah,
it's separate
yeah.
conditions,
All right.
but maybe.
well, why don't we try it and we'll get back to you on.
Okay, but to me, that's definitely a special permit.
Thank you.
So what do we have? left?
Next
Dining?
is dining. Yep, so this is hopefully an easy one. This is permitted in all of your business zones currently, without any conditions. So we assume that would continue. It does limit, it says excluding any design for
Oh, yeah.
patrons and motor vehicles. So you can't have a drive-in
Mhm.
restaurant. The next one is outside dining on a deck, porch, terrace, or patio as an accessory use. So this one we've said permitted in the proposed retail zone with condition number 10, which is on, so here we made condition number 10 what you have in your current code for the sidewalk permit. So if the outdoor dining is on municipal sidewalks or walkways as an accessory to the
So
adjacent restaurant or
no
food service
changes.
establishment. It's subject to the sidewalk cafe permit procedures.
Right.
So rather than having that as separate text
Yep.
in your code under each zone, we've made it a condition for outside
Do
dining.
the sidewalk cafe permits, do those?
They don't go to, they
What?
don't go to the commission.
They don't.
No,
go to-
that wasn't my
Sorry,
question.
sorry.
Do those currently have a size limitation on how big the outdoors dining
Yeah, I
can be?
mean, it's a function of how much frontage they have
Okay.
on the sidewalk.
So it has to be in front of the establishment.
They can get permission to use like, so what is it, Dolce? They also sometimes use in front of the Bank of America
Mhm.
space because they get sign off from the property owner. But so sidewalk cafe guidelines actually aren't under P and Z Commission purview, they're all Board of Selectmen.
Yep.
So,
And any outdoor dining requires sidewalk cafe?
no, only if you're on municipal sidewalk.
Okay, well, I guess my question is, would it apply in the business zones too? Because we only have the,
It does not
Condition.
right now.
okay.
Because you have outdoor dining at Pesca in the
Oh,
rear.
it should apply in the business
where?
zone as well.
Pesca.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Oh,
I was
does
thinking
it?
it should
It's
have.
right in the
It
back.
should,
You're right in that little
Yeah.
kind of,
because you have to
Back
allow it
there.
as of right.
Roger Sherman too. We got
No, but
outdoor
that's
dining.
not on the
That's
sidewalk.
true, it's
No, it
not
doesn't,
on.
right.
Yes, you're right.
By law,
We have to
by
make
Connecticut
it.
state statutes,
You have to allow outdoor
As of right.
dining.
dining on sidewalks as of right.
But,
Yeah.
No, and
But
I
you're
thought it was
allowed
also
to have
in-
like a license.
okay, so,
Yeah.
but so in the business zones, my question is, the sidewalk cafe permit procedures would also apply
Yes.
to outdoor dining?
So P,
That-
we
add
should have a
10,
10
yeah,
next
right,
to on
okay.
both.
But we
yeah.
don't, like, there's no restaurant that has outdoor dining on the business zone, and I don't think,
Well, I
The
mean,
Board
there
of Selectmen
is, but
want
it's not
that.
on the public right away, like.
which
down
again, sidewalk cafe
the- Okay,
is not outdoor dining. Like, it is outdoor dining, but all outdoor dining is not a sidewalk cafe. You're only a sidewalk cafe if you're on a municipal sidewalk.
okay. So we don't permit dining, like over where Tony's and Zoom Box and.
We
Pine
don't
Street.
permit it on the sidewalks. We
Okay,
permit outdoor
that's on private
dining.
property.
Yeah, on private property,
Private.
not
So
on
there's no
sidewalks.
conditions on that.
No,
No, it's on their property.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is no 10 on the P
correct.
in the business.
Correct.
Okay,
So leave as
And
is.
there should be.
You got it?
got it. Crossing the 10 off.
Yeah.
Leave as is.
It gets complex. There's a quiz later.
Okay, so the next one is
Sure as hell.
outside entertainment as an accessory use. And that would be by special permit in the business zone only.
So technically
Have it
right
in the
now,
Retail.
yeah, so this was my recommendation, just get rid of it in the retail zone. And then you prevent a white buffalo from happening again.
Outside,
agree.
I think of what we have with White Buffalo, it's,
It doesn't, white buffalo's allowed to continue
Right.
as is, but then they become
Right.
non-conforming and they can't change.
Okay,
Yep.
Other than.
good with it.
Yeah.
I think that's, I would agree with that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so theaters, I think we took what you have currently, that they're allowed in the retail A district. I believe there's a size limit there. We felt that in the business district, there should not be a size limit on them. So on here, we have it by special permit.
Good with the special
I
permit.
get that.
Given that we've put a size limit on supermarkets and office establishments, I mean, what if like AMC with 8 theaters wanted, I mean, they'd have to assemble a lot of land. I understand this is not a slam dunk, but like,
Yeah, and AMC did so well.
I kind of doubt that's gonna happen.
okay, well then, we'll just leave it as this.
We have a big AMC diagonally across from the back of our office. It's been vacant.
empty?
Vacant for 3 years.
Mhm.
Is it?
Okay. I thought
Yeah.
you could.
I mean, we can't
Yeah.
even fill.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
Can't even
Maybe
fill
it's
the
open.
theater we have, we don't have demand, all right, who cares?
Like the one in
Um,
like Portchester. like-
Okay, so wellness centers, health clubs.
Wellness
and
centers, what's a
indoor
wellness
Yeah, this one I
recreation.
have,
AMC.
I'm confused about this and
Yeah.
personal service establishments.
Well, so that, okay, so I can speak to this one. I recommended it be added into the retail zones because right now it's not. And right now I treat yoga studios and Pilates studios as personal service establishments, but the definition explicitly says you need to exclude wellness type activities.
Okay,
So
you need a different definition of wellness centers.
yeah,
We have
Yes.
one, I think.
or I think, yeah, we do have a different definition for wellness centers, and frankly, yoga studios, Pilates studios should probably be under that definition. So
It's a health club.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
added in, I think, condition 12.
Less
So
than
basically,
5,000
yeah,
square feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, yoga studios, Pilates studios have a more natural fit of where they could go in the retail
Okay,
zones.
but-
Yeah.
So we have to break those apart as being allowed in the retail zone, whereas health club is not.
That's a question on whether or not you would want to allow.
This health club is gonna be a
Yeah.
much broader definition and a bigger facility.
But if we're capping
be.
it at 5,000 square feet,
In the retail
It could
zone.
still be a health club.
yeah, I mean,
But do we care if it's a
Do you
5,000
care?
square foot health club?
there's one right at the edge of retail and business A, right next to CVS. It's Inspire Fitness.
Mhm.
You've also got the boxing studio on Main Street. Those are probably 5,000 square feet or less. They're in the business zone, but would you really care if that were on Forest Street or
No.
a little closer on Main? So
No. But this doesn't apply to like the tenant, what's the indoor tennis club?
well, so they're that's a wellness center slash health club
And
slash
that's in
indoor
the business.
recreation, and that is permitted. Maybe it should be by special permit in the,
What about dance studios? We have those too, including on Forest Street. Where do they fit?
I mean, I think right now it's awkward and not clear.
Okay,
I
but
think
you would
it
put it
should-
into wellness.
For the,
Or you
bus-
have to open up the personal service establishment definition. You gotta pick one or the other.
for the business zone, there's no upper limit on this use though. So I guess the question is, would you want to have an upper limit for
The
health
size.
club? Yeah, for size.
With the caveat of, the tennis center is huge.
Tennis center is huge.
It's bigger, I doubt it meets FAR requirements for today's standards. So I don't know if it actually really matters.
And then, not to make this messier, but like the YMCA, in my opinion, is a wellness center, health club.
It's all of it together.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wing students,
That's in a
residential,
different
so
zone.
I know,
Yeah.
And so is the country club on some, so.
Well, those have different definitions, technically
Those we'll talk
speaking.
about next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can think about whether or not you'd like to add an upper limit to the health clubs in the business.
Okay.
zone Or indoor.
I think that's where I think some calculations and help of what the FAR does. Like, do we actually need any of these caps, or is the
Right.
FAR acting as that?
FAR.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
So
One more
lots
question on the wellness centers. I'm good with in the retail zone, less than 5,000 square feet, first floor. Do we want to limit them to upper floors, or how do
I
we
mean,
feel
we've got
about
a,
yoga studios?
you just
Pilates?
approved
Yoga
a
studio is already a
Pilates.
grade.
You just approved a Pilates studio.
I know,
6
because they're
months
doing
ago.
the 15
Yeah,
feet
Yeah.
of retail in the
On
front.
the
Yeah.
But
first
if,
floor.
but
Yeah.
if they're no
Right.
longer coming as a personal service establishment, which requires the 15 feet of retail, and they're now coming as a wellness health club, which doesn't require the retail, are we good with it on the first floor?
I think that 15-foot / 20% criteria is really important in the retail zone when
I think
allowing
it's
these
gonna be
types
on
of
the first
uses.
floor.
I agree with that.
If it's gonna be on the
do
first
you
floor.
think, so just to play devil's advocate a little bit, with that Pilates studio, do you think that that is actually taking anyone off the street? Oh, like they're
No, I
looking in the
actually think it's-
window?
Not good. 15%. I was gonna text
Yeah.
you one day and be like, this is a terrible use of the 15% rule.
So
That- What?
is that 15% of
Is it
sales
creating an
space?
active frontage?
Yeah, is it getting people off the street to go into that store, which is the goal?
No, that's actually not the goal.
Is it not?
No, the goal is to create a buffer zone between let's call it the exercise environment
Area
in
and
the rear, because I don't want someone like they're doing in the boxing thing on
So it's all
Main
about
Street now.
visibility. You
It's
just don't want to see
visibility.
It's the
it.
visibility.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to see someone stretching and doing their reformer right in your face in the front window.
So do you want to add that same retail requirement to wellness health clubs in the retail zone?
On the first floor.
On the
First
On the
floor.
first
yeah.
I
floor.
think if it's on the upper floor, I don't
Which
care.
again, do you just
Upper
want to
floor, I
define it
don't-
as
I
a
don't
personal
really care.
service establishment at that point? And just widen the definition?
We
Yes.
could.
Yes.
That'd probably be
Yes.
easier.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
There
we'll
we go.
include them in
Progress.
personal service.
Ooh, decision.
So, well,
Yeah.
then, I mean, so what would you call that?
A personal service, they're saying.
I,
So we just need to go
You're
back to the
just-
definition of
Yeah,
personal
we have
service
to widen the
establishment and add
definition.
in like
To include
yoga,
exercise
Pilates.
clubs.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
all
Yoga,
kinds of
Pilates,
things, spinning, there's
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
basically. And we still need some sort of definition for an indoor recreation space, probably because of the tennis club.
Right,
Um,
as well as health club.
health clubs, yeah.
All right, now we
Fitness-
get to the fun
fitness
part.
facility.
Okay,
Now we get to
residential.
dwelling units in the
Okay.
residential zone.
Yeah, so
Don't
this
forget
is
the
a
dance
fun one.
studios.
So this is essentially because of the housing bill. You need to allow middle housing in your retail and business zones. So here we have middle housing is defined as 2 to 9 units. And so here these are permitted as of right in both the retail and the business zone. But
Permitted with site plan approval.
Yeah, which we're
Yes.
allowed to do.
Yes.
Not
I-
as of right.
Sorry.
Really question, and I guess we have to get to the bottom of it with the state, if we can require ground floor retail. Yeah, at least along the
So-
street frontage, because I think,
By
in
the
my
way,
reading
that's-
of it,
That's-
I don't think so.
That's
I'm going,
my read
I'm,
too.
Let them
I have a
service.
training with Westcog tomorrow. I'm gonna ask that question there, get their vibe. We'll talk to the town attorneys about it, but my reading of it is not.
because I think there's
Positive,
a lot of demand for residential in our downtown. I don't know how much you'll see conversions to these 2 to 9 units, but I think it will change the nature of our downtown if you start to have
Absolutely.
exclusively residential buildings in the retail zone, in that
By the way, that's
walkable
the
main
big
and out.
question a lot of people are raising. I've raised it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
And because in your downtown, particularly your retail,
yeah. I
retail
mean, in the
space.
business zone, I could live with it. being all
Yeah.
residential, but in the main
Retail,
and Elm
yeah.
retail area.
Yeah,
Well,
We have it on
Sarah,
purpose.
let us know what they say
Essentially, we
tomorrow.
have that on
I will.
purpose. We-
Yeah.
yeah, it does make sense, by the way. And I'm just wondering what the reading will be out of Hartford or out of Westcog.
Well, every town, I can tell you from the P and Z chairs conversations that I've had, they're all pushing back on this. So this
Yeah.
is going to be contested in the state.
Yeah.
You know, one way or another, it could become a court case. It could be changed by an addendum. But I don't want to go down that route with our guidelines for all best practices, right? We don't want to see residential on the first floor of
yeah.
retail. And we should structure, I understand the additional dwelling units above, nothing wrong with that. We already allow that
Love
with
that
certain
for
criteria.
years.
Yeah. I'm not in favor of going down that route, regardless of what the state is currently saying.
No, I think that's fine. I'll tell you the truth, many planners don't
Let
agree
them
with
fight
it.
us on.
It's actually detrimental to a business area.
It's detrimental.
To let it
for so
become
many
all
things.
residential.
I won't get into it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
so,
to a
so
business
let's allow it then. We'll just allow it. And
We'll just allow
it'll
what?
be,
We'll require ground floor retail.
we'll require
Ground floor retail.
floor retail.
Yes.
And
So then I don't
you
even
wait.
know if we need to change
You
the
don't have to
retail
change it.
rule, because
Right.
right now it's just.
Yep.
You can have it. We don't even have a density cap, so I don't know.
We
So we
just need,
currently comply.
I mean, you could argue that.
on your downtown.
For retail, yeah.
You do allow housing on the second floor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Use
you're
site
set.
plan,
downtown.
I
yeah.
would say you're set, and you can even set, according to the state, you can even set a density cap on that of 9 units. If you want.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I-
don't see any reason to do it, though.
I wouldn't-
I would
Well,
just stick with
That
your
would
area and
negate
bulk
112
requirements.
Main, right?
Yeah.
Well, so the other thing I was gonna
We have
say,
one in the old bank
again,
building.
because
with
everything's
5
more
units.
complicated, 112 Main, remember they wanted first floor units, but in the back, not on the street frontage. So
Yeah.
I don't even know if I care if it's completely ground floor retail, but I would say on the street facing frontage, it has
Right.
to have a retail
Yeah.
component.
That's a good point.
Even
Yeah.
if it's residential back behind
112
it.
did it.
Accessories.
Did it
There was
well.
some in the back.
Yeah.
It faced, it had windows.
By the
have
way,
an
we-
example of that.
We have an example of that. We can send you an accessory.
We-
had
yeah.
a live work.
We built that into our
We adopted
regs,
that,
so
right?
there is already one in there. Yeah.
All right, so we'll stay in your retail zone. Retail zone, we'll keep it the way it is.
Well, the existing, one thing
Keep it
is
the way it
that
is.
the existing,
We'll have to get rid of the size.
condition, yeah,
cap.
has
Yeah.
a size limit of 1,500 square feet, so
A maximum.
maximum, yeah.
There's
It's
also a minimum
700,
too.
Yeah.
it's 750 square feet in the retail
It
zone,
also
but we have to
doesn't
get rid
say
of
that it
that.
has to be retail on the ground floor. It just says no such
Commercial.
unit shall be permitted on the first floor of any building. So you could have a lobby on the ground floor currently, right?
We can have parking.
That is not how we interpreted that.
No.
But I see what you're saying.
I would say what Sarah's saying makes sense.
We want
I
it
would keep it the way it is.
Keep it the way it is. It's
Clearly
also
make-
because we currently don't have
Keep
a
it the way
cap.
it is or add retail. Because the way it is doesn't require retail.
What does, so it's.
Require
Retail's
retail.
allowed.
The unit can't be on the first floor, that's all.
Well,
Well,
the
so in
assumption
theory,
is
a
that that would
permitted
be
use
retail.
has to be on the first floor. I think that's how we've always interpreted it. But that could be parking.
But if the unit can't be if the criteria is for the retail zone, if a residential unit can't be on the first floor, then the inferment is that it's a retail use on the first floor.
Permitted use, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
that's permitted.
Retail would be permitted on the ground floor.
But so we would have to get rid of the 750.
So is that a requirement?
I mean, retail
Cap,
would be
yeah.
permitted, but doesn't
Okay.
have
Yeah,
to
that's
be
the
retail.
one,
Retail
that's the
could
one
be
caveat,
service.
yeah.
It'd be personal
So
service.
state
Can it be
statute a
a
couple
lobby?
years ago removed, we can't have size limits.
It would
At
be,
all.
we don't want
Yeah,
lobby
at all.
space for a residential.
That's
Because I
not
do
a permitted
think
use, that's not
you
listed
wanna
as a
allow-
permitted.
There's
use.
a
Okay, so it
policy
has to be
outside
permitted
to
Permitted use, yeah.
So
having
isn't- but
smaller
isn't a lobby
units
part of
in
residential
downtown.
use?
I mean, as we saw in Burtis, they're
It
gonna
is,
wanna
but what they're
build,
saying
you know,
is
a
if
3-bedroom
you don't-
penthouse if they
Yeah,
can.
I'm saying they interpret it differently.
But you're saying
I
we
feel like
can't
it's open
have
to
any
interpretation.
limitation.
No.
I would-
What we want to do is make sure.
Either
that
maximum or
retail's
minimum.
allowed.
Correct.
So should we clearly
Yeah.
say like?
But you
a
can control
permitted
density.
use must be on the.
So that sort of limits it by lot size.
Facing
But I mean, do you,
portion of the ground.
I don't know,
floor,
do you
like a
care
permitted use
if
must-
We have to
someone
get into
above,
that.
I don't know,
So
LPQ just did a 2,000 square foot one
Allowed,
unit?
period.
Do you
On
care?
an individual
That's what you're saying.
basis, I don't care, but
If
I
was-
think that
mean, I'm not a developer, but
the
I would interpret
collective
that as, oh, you can have
impact-
my residential
Sorry.
building.
Wait, we should probably have
Sorry.
a conversation.
I think the
Yeah.
collective impact of not having upper limit on the size of units in the downtown is that you're going to get multi-million-dollar large units downtown, which means that once again, we're not catering to affordable needs and we're not catering to middle income needs because larger unit is going to cost more money. So by limiting the size of the unit, we're effectively limiting the price of the unit on some level.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's not gonna,
my understanding is that we've lost that right to be able to do
Okay.
that.
but it's not gonna change the ability for a developer like they did on the View, for a developer to come in with X number of 1 and 2 bedroom units and post-approval, post-construction, have people buying 2 of the units and combining them into a larger one.
Yeah.
Sure.
I see.
That'll always happen.
I think
Yeah,
you're only not allowed to set minimum size.
Oh, are we on? Okay.
yeah, I mean,
So then maybe we can do the max? I
I
thought
mean, there,
we couldn't.
we've had people push back on it. I mean, I think 112 I think everybody who's tried to build residential in downtown has pushed back on that maximum size, but I just,
I do think 750 is a little small.
750 is, yeah, but I'm talking about the
But-
1500 max.
750 is snug.
It's small. I
That's
used to- I
that's a
used to live
one
in
person or
750.
two people.
I
really
did 2
like
years
each
ago. I
other.
didn't like it.
Yeah.
Well, I think, to go back, just to clarify though, we want to basically keep your retail on the ground
Yep.
floor.
Yes.
In the retail district.
I mean, before we do that work, I think, I'm going to this Westcog training. We're gonna talk to the town attorney. I think we need like a legitimate legal interpretation and then,
Okay,
I mean, we need to comply with the law. So
yes, we do.
Well, I think the
I know-
law is unclear.
It
I
is,
think the
yeah.
law will get clarified in time when people get sued. So do we want to put ourselves on that list?
Sure.
I would say it's a reasonable thing to do, actually. because
I think we need to protect our
everyone
town
is saying the
regardless of
same
the
thing.
stupidity that goes on in Hartford.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I mean,
Cool
if the
thing.
intention of the regulation in Hartford is that we are allowing more residential, I don't have a problem with that. I think that protecting our downtown core.
Yep.
I mean, and I think that we as a commission, and I've mentioned this to Sarah, should discuss other options to protecting our downtown core, which would also be looking at historic district designation on Main and Elm. I don't know if that's the
Yep.
planning commission
Main
responsibility.
and Elm or Lower Main, you mean?
Lower Main and Elm, the retail.
Oh, as historic district?
As a historic district, that would give us some more protection. Codifying our village district design guidelines would give us some more protection.
Yeah, but the
These are-
historic part of it,
so-
that's gonna be difficult because you gotta get buy-in from every one of the owners.
I know, but that's what gives you the most protection. What gives you the second most protection is codifying your village district design guidelines, which gives you the third most protection until we get sued is requiring ground floor uses.
So just to clarify, I know we're talking about retail, but what are we doing about the business zone? Because right now we do allow first floor residential.
I'm okay with
And
that.
so are we because right now we have the dwelling units 2 to 9 units. Are we just getting rid of that altogether? Because, Houston Lane is an example. Effectively, there's no commercial in that building. There's a leasing
Right.
office. Same thing with Vertus. So I'm a little confused about what we're,
I think the
Are we-
key, to me, just
we're doing.
looking at things, the key is your retail zone. You need to allow retail on the ground.
no,
floor.
I understand that. I'm
Your
just-
question is on the business zone. I
Yeah,
think
because
the
we've got 2
business,
zones, yeah.
I think the business zone is,
Are you asking
Good.
if we would allow a full residential building in the business zone?
Well, so I'm asking, what, for the direction for BFJ, are we just deleting this dwelling units 2 to 9 units line and we're just sticking with what we have?
Yes.
Or, okay,
yeah.
Yes.
okay.
so basically residential, just say dwelling units contained within a mixed use development, and then we'll have our specific conditions.
Mhm.
Retail zone needs to have
Ground
different
floor.
use on the ground floor,
Great
Right.
read, yeah.
and then business zone has its own,
You're also
density
not
limit.
having full residential in the business zone.
I guess not, no.
Like you want to have some other use on the ground floor
No, that's not what we're saying.
in business zone.
No, so I think what they're saying is they want to stick with how it's currently operated, which retail, you need to have something on the first floor. Business, you just have to have some sort of commercial component.
Okay.
It could be 200 square feet and like it doesn't, yeah.
Okay.
We'll move forward with that.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
That's good. Go with.
Maybe we get to this later, the inclusionary zoning regulations for 5 or more units
Yeah, we have that on our agenda. That's-
We have it.
Yeah.
applies, okay. It would apply here as well.
Yeah.
The state hasn't said it can't apply.
No, I think the
Because that would
intent is
be
that they're
counterintuitive
encouraging
to
it.
what I
Yeah,
think they
yeah.
want us to. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Okay, so institutional uses, these, we put by special permit in both, zones. There's a condition in the retail zone, for that they can't be more than 7,500 square feet of gross floor area.
One question is, you mentioned for art galleries as retail.
Oh, yeah,
We
I
have them
moved
here as
them.
cultural facilities.
So I moved them out of that one into
Okay,
retail because they were listed in 2 places in your existing condition.
okay, so art galleries would be retail, not, yeah,
Retail.
okay, that makes sense.
When I hear art galleries here, I'm thinking the Met or something like
Yeah.
that, as opposed to for sale art. I'm not sure how to state
That would
that,
be a
but
museum.
museum, just say
Yeah.
museum.
Museum as opposed to art galleries is retail, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Where do churches fall on this?
Parking?
I forget now.
Cultural.
Churches.
I don't think we
Culturals are
have any
probably-
churches in the business
But
zone.
would that be a
But when
cultural
they, but
facility?
like you can't restrict.
Oh, right.
them.
No.
So they could go anywhere.
I think we'd
Cultural
have to
facilities
allow
like
the
the
fire
Onera
department.
Foundation would fall under.
I think
that.
just the same way we,
Yeah.
I think it could just fall under that institutional uses one. Like we can require a special permit as long as all.
Can you require a special permit for church?
Well, this is a big debate right now.
Well, so it
It's
actually
not-
came up when I talked about it with the
Yeah.
town attorney
Yeah.
recently. All places of assembly have to be treated the same way. So if all the places of assembly require a special permit, you can require a church to have a special permit.
Right.
Commercial zone, I guess, is a little iffy because place
But
of
I
assembly
would
could be a public business.
Include
you know.
in institutional uses, churches.
Like we should write it here.
Yeah.
We should specifically, otherwise somebody can attack your code.
Yeah,
It
Well, we
should be
shouldn't say
clear
churches, right?
that
We should
all
say-
places of
Religious
worship.
organization.
Places of worship would be the term, yeah.
Okay, are we good with that? Should we move to parking? Okay, so parking, all of these are just allowed in business zone. You have public or commercial surface parking lot, underground parking, with conditions. These conditions are carried over, kind of consolidated. Basically, underground parking should be hidden from view. And then, structured parking would be by special permit, with conditions. The structure has to be hidden from view from abutting properties.
I would
structured.
consider adding a second condition on that where that requirement of not being visible from other property doesn't apply to municipal property.
For, structure?
Yeah, for a parking structure.
I don't,
Why,
I-
I'm just thinking of, I wasn't, if I could, go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't mean
Go
to.
ahead.
Question, why on structured parking downtown, it's hard to not have
Yeah.
it visible from. the
that's what I'm
adjacent
getting
property.
at. Yeah, it's
How-
it's
how-
impossible.
Where did that come from?
Invisible.
It probably comes from the Walgreens development.
That's underground parking.
Underground.
Is that
Parking.
underground?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 35 places
Doctor
underground that are not being
Okay.
used.
I would,
So just get rid of it.
I would.
There's
get rid of
that
it.
where the
I would get rid of
proposed
it.
hotel is. It's the only place I can think with the underground parking.
I mean,
True
structured
underground.
parking can be landscaped.
Yeah,
You
it
can
can't
have a
be
It's
landscape,
covered.
But it'll never be hidden from view.
but it'll never be hidden from
You
view.
can't hide them
Yeah.
very
So if it
easily.
came from business B, that means it's a newer regulation that was put in to probably stop your Locust Ave hotel type development where along Cherry Street, you see the structured parking. They probably want it behind the building rather than right in the front. That's probably where it comes from.
If it's a
So,
special
If it has,
permit,
like,
you could
certain screening or
also,
something.
yeah,
You could say it that way. You know what I mean? If the structured parking in site plan as a condition of site plan review, you can say that you want structured parking as much as possible to the rear of the lot or So it's not
But
gonna
that
be
would be
seen.
part of the special permit review process.
That'd be part of the
Yeah.
It
review
wouldn't be a
process. Yeah,
criteria.
it wouldn't
like-
be a criteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just on that topic really quickly, obviously this, we're not talking about it tonight. I just think it's important to say and remember that I think the goal is to have different special permit criteria for the different uses. So I know I would like to see special permit criteria specifically for all the business zones versus special permit criteria for like an institutional use in a residential zone. So, we keep saying, yes, we're requiring a special permit, but down the road, we need to think about why we're requiring a special permit and what things you're measuring against for something to be eligible for a special permit.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's a good thing.
So
Okay.
structured parking, what do we do?
So
Really
take off
quick
footnote
condition.
16.
So then should underground parking and structured parking be combined?
No,
No?
I would see them as different.
Okay,
Very
so
different.
underground parking's permitted via site plan, structured is still special permit. It just can be visible.
Mhm.
Okay.
When I think
Underground
of
has separate
underground parking,
conditions,
it
yeah.
means you can't see it except when they
Okay,
drive in
yeah.
and out or you
Yeah.
look in the entrance.
it's the view.
Which would be
Yeah.
the view,
Yeah.
which would be, yes, which would be Walgreens
calling
if
the
they
view
actually had
underground.
cars. Or the one with the on Locust and Forest. Again, that you can't see it once it goes in.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's things like behind where the school board is. You have parking that's underneath and you can see it from the side. It's parking,
Mhm.
but it's not underground.
Mhm.
We just have a
So
couple
next,
more.
we just
Yeah.
have a final ones.
Hold on, back
Oh,
on the
sorry.
parking, on the
ahead.
underground parking, the last, it says it's A, but
Oh,
I think
sorry.
it's probably be D.
Yeah.
I don't understand that one. Public parking shall not be required to be hidden from public view or be a substitute for surface parking. Do we have any idea what the purpose of that is, what it means, and if we need it?
I think it's like if a component of the parking is public, like municipal parking. right?
Yeah, they don't have to,
And it
I guess,
doesn't have
screen
to be
as much.
screened.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And the public gets a pass.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, so
I just understood it.
hotels. Okay,
Hotels?
Yeah, hotels and inns, we just added hotels to the inns definition and we put this as a special permit in the business
think that makes
districts and
sense.
not in retail.
So that's been added in as like one-off, there's been one-off examples, right?
It might be.
Okay,
It might be.
there might be
They're
one-off.
voting
examples.
on it tomorrow night.
Okay, yeah.
I was gonna ask, and don't stop me if we can't talk about this. Have you seen the potential thing that we're voting on tomorrow night? Because I think it's still a little, you guys have really done a good job of simplifying our conditions, and I think our conditions there are pretty detailed still.
The conditions are tied more to the dimensional standards, whereas the current text is just hotels. So as far as use go, sorry. It's all tied to the dimensional standards, so I have not sent that to them
Okay.
yet. But as far as the use goes, technically what has been proposed is just hotels plain.
But like when we have a section of the regulations on commercial that has this table and it has
Yeah.
the schedule of area in bulk and it has this, I'm assuming that all of those conditions about the length of the wall and all of that stuff, but it would say, there'd be another number, 17 hotels, and it would have all those details. Or are you not thinking that?
I think that's something we have to discuss.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. I was thinking like, could we preempt having to fix it later by fixing it now?
Well, so I think that's where we have to eventually talk about the dimensional standards.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to yet, by the way.
Yep.
I think that if we could finish this,
Go ahead. Yep.
we may need, I hate to say this, but I don't know if we'll get through everything tonight, but we could at least get through the uses. and,
Yeah.
Come back to
Yeah.
because I know,
Yeah, I mean, this was a big thing to bite off.
this was big to bite off, yeah. But we just need to finish gas stations and nursery schools, that might be.
Yeah, these ones we just added in because they weren't included before. And we put gas stations was permitted in the business zone, nursery schools and daycares by a special permit in the business zone.
I'd make gas stations
Yeah,
special
gas
permit.
stations are special
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Toxic
Looking at
things
it
and,
now.
leakage of tanks and all that. Yeah.
So we will put together a revised version of this and send it back to you.
And so we don't currently allow nursery schools or daycares.
No,
in the
That was
business
something we heard from the practitioner meeting.
Practitioner meeting.
Yeah,
seems to make sense,
Yeah, I
not
don't
in
have any-
retail, but in business.
One of the issues I found with nursery schools and daycare is that their dimensions are set by state law and you need a certain decent sized footprint, and
Yeah.
that can be tricky given the space we have.
Yeah.
So finding something that will meet state standards becomes
Yeah, they'll have to
tough.
deal with that then.
Yeah.
There are some of the mini ones in the
Yeah.
home, there are a few of those in town, but
But I think it does make sense to allow them by special
In the
permit in your
business.
yes, I
business.
agree.
Yeah.
But it's just,
For sure.
you have to find a lot of spaces that can accommodate it.
Yeah.
So, just to add a final thought, I know you said that you guys are gonna revise. I know you all didn't really talk too much about site plan versus as of right.
That's-
You really just did the special
Yeah.
permit. Are we doing that next or?
That's where I was gonna go. I
Okay.
was like,
Yeah.
we didn't
Well,
talk
so-
about which of these, if any of
I
these should be
have-
admin approval.
I have thoughts based on
No
what you guys
suggestions?
said tonight and also
Yes.
what I've
Okay.
observed over. I'm happy to quickly run through those or.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Do it.
and then we can
That'd
put
be
together
good.
another, a
Okay.
draft with
And
those
then,
for you to
yeah.
So-
consider, yeah.
I think retail businesses under 5,000 square feet should just be an as of right zoning permit, in the retail zone. And then probably same thing in the business zone, and then, maybe if it's over 5,000 square feet and, not to exceed 10,000 square feet, that's the site plan, in the proposed business zone. I think offices as capped in the retail zone could also be a zoning permit. Medical offices would be a site plan. Banks could be a zoning permit.
I ask you, medical offices, definitely a site plan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
that's
said.
staying as is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
As like a.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I'm taking notes.
Personal service establishments in the retail zone would be zoning permit.
So banks and personal services
Yeah.
are both as of right, quote, as of right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And sorry, I'm just going down the line.
Yeah.
Retail first, and then I'll go to business if there's any. Restaurants in the retail zone should be a zoning permit.
Now, by zoning permit, it's as of right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Outside dining as an accessory use in the retail zone, I could go either way. I could see an argument for us handling it, but if you guys want more oversight. I don't even know in the retail zone where anyone has private property that it wouldn't already just be staff approval through the sidewalk cafe permit.
Yeah, but I can see that. I can't point to a specific
Well,
property.
I guess White Buffalo, that's the only one.
Well, maybe
But-
what Buffalo, but there might be another property out there, but it's one of those where it could adversely affect the neighbors
Yeah.
to the point where we would want to see it as a special permit.
So we can't require a special permit for outdoor dining anymore, only outdoor entertainment.
It'd be site plan
So
approval
you
is
could
the
make
other
it site
option.
plan approval.
No,
No,
that's
I'm
not what I
sorry.
heard. We can't require a special permit if it's a sidewalk dining, but if it's an outdoor dining component on their own property, we could still require a special permit.
That's not my understanding.
I have to check.
I thought that's what I heard
Oh.
earlier.
Let me see, I can pull up.
So my understanding is that we just, for outdoor dining on private property, we cannot require a special permit.
Ah.
Outdoor entertainment, so like White Buffalo's music.
Yeah.
Special permit. That's
Okay.
not,
Okay,
yeah, just
But you can have it
as a site plan.
as a site plan.
So keep
Yeah.
as
So
is,
you
not
have-
make it as of right.
Yeah, you'd
I
have.
mean, I was
Yeah.
asking
Oh, yeah.
them.
but keep it as a
um,
site plan approval.
A site plan approval, right?
I'm asking you all in the retail zone, how you feel about it? Being site plan or being a zoning permit? I mean, because the sidewalk
As
cafes.
of right zoning permit.
Correct,
I would
because,
say site plan.
okay.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the
Okay.
only argument against is sidewalk cafe, you have no discretion over already, which is
I
the bulk of
understand that.
it, so.
I understand
Okay.
that, but again, it's us being accountable to the people in the town and neighbors who are gonna say, well, how could you allow, 80 seats outdoors? And I'm not saying that's
Yeah,
gonna happen, but
That's fine.
I guess I would say for, offices, banks, personal service establishments, and retail stores, when you go in the business, if the size is the same, like the size caps that apply to the retail zone, in theory, if they're proposing that in the business zone, that could also just be staff approval.
So offices, banks, personal services is what
Yeah,
you're mentioning,
yeah,
and retail.
yeah.
Not the
Also
general,
in business zone.
not the general services. General services not be site plan. General services.
Like the specialty services.
Yeah.
Specialty, those would remain with site plan.
Yeah, I mean,
They're the bigger, they're the,
The more
I think I need
intensive
like a
uses.
broader definition of what
yeah.
that is to,
Yeah.
And I mean, same thing, I think restaurants in the business zone could be a zoning permit. I mean, I think if you had a setback in the business zone for outdoor dining, it could also be a zoning permit, but
Sarah, maybe I'll just, let me see. How does this look? Is this what you're thinking?
yeah.
Okay. So this is sort of a first pass at it, and we'll put this into a
Yeah.
revised
Yeah.
use table for you to take another look at.
So outdoor food and beverage services as accessory use shall be allowed as of right for food establishment.
So
Yeah.
in the end, the proposed chart, it's going to have 3 legend categories, right? As
Yes.
of right, permitted by site plan approval and special permit.
yeah, yeah.
Here's an example, just so you have an idea. This is Fairfield. They recently redid theirs, and we saw this at a conference recently and thought that it was, it's not sharing. And thought it was, this is in their residential, but the way that they have it here, they have permitted and then special exception, that it's their version of a special permit, and then additional standards are listed here. So it would be something kind of similar to this, and the conditions would be listed under additional standards. But this would be for the business and retail zone.
Mhm.
So this would be at the beginning of the section.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but we'd be specifying site plan also.
Yeah, so
Making that
3 categories. yeah.
3 categories, right?
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
You want to go over the
Area
area
involved.
involved?
Well, we could.
I'm fine,
And
but
we've
if
got
you
area
do,
involved
I-
and housing.
I'm fine with it
So,
going over area.
I'm
involved.
okay
Inclusionary
too,
zoning might
staying.
be put together,
Um,
but-
I think we need to wait on inclusionary zoning. I would go over area involved.
Yeah, inclusionary zoning, there's
Okay.
more discussion items too.
Yeah. All right, so let's do it then.
Okay,
Right.
so area and bulk, now you have your schedule of existing area and bulk table, and then you have the proposed area and bulk table.
Yeah, I just looked on the screen.
I can just go through them quickly. So the minimum lot sizes in your existing zones, they're all 5,000 square feet except for retail A, which has no minimum lot size. So in our proposed retail zone, we have no minimum lot size. And in the business zone, we have a minimum lot size of 5,000 square feet. So the minimum frontage in all of your zones is currently 50 feet of frontage on a public street, and so we've maintained that. Minimum front yard setbacks, in retail, we've put this as building line only. And in the business zone, we've put this at 5 feet.
So why would we want a 5-foot setback, minimum setback in the business zone?
It's currently what we have.
I would say building line only. I don't know off the top
Yeah.
of my head if there is building line in the business zones, but
Yeah, so in business
Some
B,
of
it's
them-
building line
yeah.
only. In business A and retail B, it's 5 feet or 150% of the minimum side yard, whichever is greater, but not to exceed 10 feet.
I don't see.
What's the
quite
5
frankly,
feet doing for you? I mean,
Yeah, that's
it's-
what I'm saying.
wider sidewalk.
Well,
I would
It's
say.
creating a consistent.
For 15 or 20 feet, I could see why
Yeah.
it's doing something for you. It may not be a
It
good
gives you-
idea, but
What it's doing is controlling the loom factor on streets like Pine Street or along Cherry as it goes along, so you don't have buildings right on top of the property line.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think,
Is 5 feet noticeable?
Yeah,
to
5
you?
feet
Yes.
is not noticeable and those streets are already very wide.
Well, provides for landscaping in front as one
Yeah.
option, yeah.
we found that when you get a building.
I mean, take Cherry Street, you take what's his name, Sachs?
Brock.
Brock Sachs,
Yeah,
take his lot, right? If you, that has setback, all the buildings are set back at least 5 feet, if not more, right?
Yeah, you got the whole
He
parking lot.
decides to redevelop that and puts the building right at the property line.
By the way.
It's going to change the whole
It
feel of that street.
Which
I
Burtis
think
is
Dan
doing.
has a good,
What?
Which Burtis is doing right across the
Which-
street.
yeah.
Right.
I think your 5 feet, we have seen cases where without it, the building came right, I'm not talking now about Elm or Main, so, but I'm
Yeah, we're
talking
talking
about
the
the
business.
business.
Yeah.
Retaining what you have of the 5 feet, I think does make sense. It allows for landscaping,
Yeah,
and it allows for a wider sidewalk. You're not right at the street frontage.
Okay, I can live with that. I think especially landscaping can soften the whole vibe of it.
Mhm.
Okay, I take the point.
Okay, so
I just think
the,
it's weird, sorry, that the minimum front yard setback is the same as the maximum. front
Yeah, I don't
yard
think the
setback.
So
maximum.
I have comments about the maximum
About
front
which
yard
one, sorry?
setback. The next one, maximum front yard setback.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken specifically to the town attorneys about this one, but
Yeah.
this is essentially a variance because there's no upper limit cap. You're saying, okay, the building can be no more than 5 feet from the property line, or we'll change it for a special permit, but there's no cap. That's gonna have to go.
Well, the part where it's modified by a special
Yeah.
permit, yeah, that part has to go, but then if it's a 5 feet minimum and a 5 feet maximum, what are we
What's the
doing?
difference?
Why,
So you would
why
put that in,
why would we have a maximum front yard setback?
so you don't end up with parking in the front.
Or huge setbacks, creating like a jigsaw for the street line.
So in a sense,
But-
you almost don't need a minimum front yard setback. In theory, you
need
could
the
just have a
maximum.
max.
Yeah.
front yard
I know,
but
but
in
we already,
the retail zone, we have
but,
none.
but we already have dozens of properties with parking in the front that exceed the maximum front yard setback.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
You
the
don't
question is,
want
do you
more.
want more?
Yeah,
Uh,
we have them on
on Pine Street,
Pine, yes.
Those
You
would
have
be
it on-
We
pre-existing.
know we
have it
have
on-
them, but the question is, do you want
Want
more?
more.
If you had something new come in, would you want to see that built now? I wouldn't.
I don't like parking in front. I just don't like it.
By the way, you can prohibit parking in front as a separate item, but if you want to protect yourself, you could do a 10 feet or 15-foot maximum.
It's basically to ensure that you have a consistent pedestrian experience in that in any, commercial lot, you've got building close to the sidewalk, basically.
I mean, I think if we're gonna leave a 5 foot minimum front yard setback in the business zone, we need to have, like you're saying, a 10 foot maximum, 15 foot. I don't know what the right number is, but to have them both be the same number, it's stupid.
Yeah. Well, 10 feet, what 10 feet does, if someone wants to do a building, they want a restaurant on the ground floor, they might want to do
Outdoor
that
dining.
so that they have dining right in front of the restaurant. It gives them a little flexibility.
We do have setbacks. I mean, think of Dolce and B of A. I mean, those are setback from the property line, I have to believe. You have this sort of little courtyard in front, same by the ice cream place, that whole building.
Well, I guess the other question is if you'd want to have a different maximum front yard setback for retail as opposed to business, if you want the retail to be closer to the street frontage sidewalk.
I
than
think
business.
that's better.
Yeah, that might make more sense.
And a lot of form-based zoning, what you see in it. And I, by the way, I don't want to introduce this here, but you do see what's called a building. It's sort of a
build two line.
build to line. And instead of just a line, it's a build to area. So they'll do a minimum like of 5 feet and a maximum of 10. You have a build to area. You can build anywhere in that. You can build anywhere between the 5 foot setback and the 10 foot setback. And what the form-based guys are trying to do with that is get some articulation in the building. They want to maintain the general frontage, but allow a good architect to articulate the building. So it's,
It's not a bad idea.
It's
So-
not bad.
Yeah.
So it'd be maximum of front yard setback of
We had that like
potentially 10
the
feet in the
Playhouse
business
too.
zone.
But
Yeah,
let me take one step back. The proposed schedule, this is applying to both retail and business.
We're
For that
talking about
specific,
columns.
yeah.
There's 2 columns, but so for maximum front yard setback, we had proposed the same for both, but I think
Mhm.
it makes sense to divide them into 2 since
Right.
they're two different characters. So potentially the maximum setback of 10 feet in the business zone. And then I don't know if you'd want to do some things,
5 feet.
Yeah.
I think 5 makes sense.
Yeah.
5 feet in the
5 feet
retail zone.
retail zone,
Yeah.
split it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, Yeah.
Is 10 enough? Do you want to go 15? You're not, I don't think you're fitting a parking. you might
you're
fit a
not, but I
parking
think the
parallel
build
parking.
to area that I'm used to is more
10.
5 to 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then 10.
And by the way, if you feel after 5 years, it's not, you want to go 15, you can. I don't think there's a magic to this, but what we see that a lot is a build to area.
Okay, building.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. So the next one is the
Building lines?
Yeah, building line.
building lines. Okay, sorry. I was just, yeah, okay. No building shall be erected on land between the building line and the street line. This is just carryover from what you have in your existing zoning.
Can we rephrase that slightly?
Yeah.
No structure shall be erected on land between the building line and the street line?
Yeah, that's good. That would
You
be
could
more
also say no
inclusive.
structure or parking,
Well,
depending.
they won't be able to do parking.
They won't be able to-
because
it's not gonna
if
be
we
able to
do a
space
5
that.
to 10 foot area.
Yeah.
They won't be able to do it.
Okay, so the next one is minimum side yard setback. So I did want to highlight here that Sarah talked to the fire department about this, and this 12 feet kind of came from ancient standards for fire access, and current standards are more like 20 feet. So what you have on the table, we would actually revise this, that minimum side yard setbacks would be 20 feet in the retail zone. Business would be 10 feet on each side.
No, so
no,
sorry, we're a little
10 and
jumbled
10.
up.
I think
So
we-
yeah, it would be 10 in the business zone, so you would get 20 total.
Yeah.
10 on
Right,
each side.
Right.
Sorry, you're
In the
doing the
business
rear.
zone, in the business zone.
You're doing the rear, not the side.
Oops,
Um,
sorry.
yeah, and then as far as the retail goes, so I spoke to the fire marshal, and what he said is because I mean, if you look just across the street from where we're sitting, they're sharing a building wall on the
Yeah.
property line.
It's their lot
So
line.
as far as that goes for firefighting purposes, the wall needs to be fire rated. And if those buildings were torn down and they wanted to do the same thing, it would be allowed. They would just have to be fire rated. So I don't think you actually need a side yard setback in the retail zone. And then in the business zone, what he basically said is, every distance helps, but realistically they're not going to pull a fire truck in unless there's 10 feet on each side. So if you want to have a setback dictated by fire standards, it should really be 10 feet on
10
each
feet
side.
rather than 6.
Okay.
And that gives you the 20 feet between buildings.
So
By the way, I generally would really recommend going with the fire chief. What he said already is, we see in other communities even larger. They're not gonna put a fire truck, most of them, the ones I'm familiar with, I've gone through this in detail. For those stabilizers on them to come down,
Yeah,
they need 17 clear feet for that. So he's gonna get that because he'll have 10 feet for the side yard of each building, that's 20 feet. So he's provided that.
Right.
And I would definitely go with that.
Okay, so none for no side yard for retail and 10 feet each for business.
yeah.
And then for the rear yard, then it would be 20 each, or did they say about?
I only asked about side yard.
Yeah, the rear yard, he can't get in, well. By the way, I was wondering where, this is unusual, but I would try to get the 20, at least in the business zone, try to get the 20 feet in the back, but, it's just I don't know why.
I think we have a lot of small lots in the business zone as well.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't think there's an
Your call.
advantage to
Yeah.
going to 20
okay,
on the rear.
all right.
But yeah,
I would just leave it at 12.
Yep, okay.
Okay, I just wanted to see what it is here. It's 12, okay. So then minimum distance between buildings on the same lot. So this also is carryover
Mhm.
from your current code, and it's at least 12 feet from any other building.
Did Fire Marshal weigh in on that?
I did not ask him explicitly.
That would be, yeah, that would be.
I
a good
assumed because
question.
it was 24 feet that
Yeah,
it would be fine.
I would just carry it over.
And then for maximum building height, this we did make a change here. We kept the retail as 30 feet or 2.5 stories, whichever is less. But for the business zone, we propose putting in 40 feet or 3 stories, whichever is less.
So
So currently
in
you just have
theory, I
two.
don't have a problem with that. Maybe we get to this later when we talk about inclusionary zoning, but
Yeah, we would have. to
those types of
increase.
increases were the bonuses in inclusionary
Yeah.
zoning. So giving them away here then means we have to increase our
Yeah.
our bonuses and inclusionary zoning. And
Yeah.
I don't know that the commission's gonna want to go above 4 feet.
Mm-mm.
So it kind of puts us.
So I partially recommended
Or
this
stories, I'm
because you already have, I would say 6 or 7 office buildings I can think of off the top of my head that are 3 stories and probably 40 feet or taller. And that would bring them more into conformance. And also, I mean, even on Forest Street and, 112 Main, you've got 3-story buildings and they would still be non-conforming because they're in the retail zone. So
I would hold it as is for now, and we need to circle back to it when we talk about inclusionary zoning, because like I said, I think there is an upper limit of what the commission will be comfortable giving away ultimately, and if we've already gone there with the maximum building height, we have nothing left to give away.
Just one other thought with that. Obviously, have to be careful with what we say because it's, still a pending application, but in theory, the commission's giving that away for a non-residential use already.
Well, I think particularly for
So-
residential uses, we have to have something to give
Yeah,
away, obviously.
but I mean, you're potentially voting to approve a 4-story building for non-affordable, so I don't know if that needs to be reflected in the future.
Because it's 4 stories.
Yep,
This is the one coming before you.
the hotel is,
Less than.
it's gonna be like 4 stories and 50 feet. And maybe it's just a extra section for adaptive reuse existing buildings. If someone's trying to save and rehab one of these existing office
That's their
buildings,
bonus.
you can
Yeah.
have an extra story. Use doesn't matter. I think you would have to, in theory, not make it about housing just because of what's going on down there, but
But I think if it does include housing, then it should be because of the affordable component. I agree that for adaptive
For adaptive
reuse and
reuse, okay.
commercial,
Yeah.
there's that, but then I
Okay.
think if it's a residential project.
yeah,
Sarah.
I can put this in the email too.
Okay, yeah, I don't mean
Taking
to,
notes,
yeah. Great.
Okay, so the next one, the maximum building wall length, this is coming from your existing. Maximum floor area ratio, this one we did do some changes. So retail is still none. And for business zones, we put it at 0.6 FAR, whereas currently you have, business A is 0.46, business B is 0.69. Oh, sorry, no, I'm looking at underground parking. Business A is 0.4, business B is 0.6, business C is 0.9, and business D is 0.6. So we went with 0.6 as kind of an average.
So does it make sense to have no floor area ratio in retail?
It's limited, I think the biggest limiter is probably the 2.5 stories, the
Yeah,
height.
and I mean,
And the
most of the
lot
lots are
sizes
so
are small.
tiny.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Like they're
Make a
they're
difference.
probably all already at like a 2 for an FAR, and then
Yeah,
I think that would just scare people,
Okay. And then on the building wall length, I know we don't currently have anything in retail, but wouldn't we want to restrict building wall length in retail as well? Maybe again, you're gonna say the lots are so small that you're never gonna get an 80-foot long.
The only one you're gonna get is 112 Main, which,
Is already an existing building.
Yeah.
That was torn
Yeah.
down and rebuilt.
No, I think this is probably okay. Okay,
Go ahead.
good. You gotta make those changes. And, having done that, and I just asked to go back for a moment. I know we want to get to that inclusionary housing now, but
Yeah.
is it
Wait,
tomorrow
we're trying to
evening?
do inclusionary housing tonight or we're not? I thought we
Oh,
weren't.
We
I
could,
thought you wanted
I mean,
to,
we
but,
could-
by the way, we can,
it's up to you.
the main thing I
I
wanted
don't.
to, oh, okay. All right,
Just to
that-
be clear where I stand.
I'd push it to the next meeting.
I mean, we've
Yeah,
got.
that's
a
fine.
long-
But I wanted to ask one question, if I could ask you to
Yeah,
come
back to
back.
the map.
Yeah, the map. Is it okay tomorrow evening to say to the full P and Z, we are looking at, we're discussing whether the business zones could go to, one retail zone and one business zone? Is
I'm
that
okay
okay
with
to
it.
mention to them?
I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we have
Okay.
to.
Yeah.
And we'll
Yeah.
revise this map.
And we'll, we'll
Reflect-
revise the map.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Have a pretty one tomorrow to show people.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, have a
Yeah.
whole pretty presentation to show people. So.
Well,
Yes.
you've already gotten a preview.
Okay, no,
Is the hotel on tomorrow night?
Yeah,
Is that at
Is that
six?
at
Oh, no,
six?
that's after us.
That's at
Oh,
7.
it's the
after
last
you.
thing on the
Oh.
agenda.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be like 10 o'clock.
Oh,
We'll let you have
On that-
an early
on that-
night tonight.
On the revised map.
Yeah.
It is clearer than the previous one in terms of where the zones land on property lines. But there's 2 small lots where the post office is currently. There's like a little rectangle in there, but I can't tell if it's,
We can double check if it takes up the whole lot.
yeah,
Oh,
it
so
doesn't
that-
exist on the other map.
It was rezoned. I don't think that reflects the current, like you're saying that back little portion of the,
Back little portion.
yeah, so that, that came up for something else recently and it was rezoned to fully being in business. So I
Okay,
think
so it
that's-
should
Can
be
you point
part
that
of
out
the-
on the map? Is
So
that,
that
So is
long
our map okay,
rectangular
Sarah?
skinny thing?
We need to-
So
Yeah.
this needs to be part of the business.
that small lot right
Yeah,
there?
Small
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay,
then we're
that
also
small lot.
combining the lots.
So all
So
those
we-
3 lots are now one
Okay.
lot?
No, the 2
So we'll need
lots.
to up that and
2 lots
update
are-
that in our shape
So
file.
it's this one.
Yeah,
The 2 lots are now the post office. And then,
The skinny
is
one?
that right? Yeah,
Yeah.
the 2 lots of the post office and then
And
the
the
corner
skinny
lot is the
part,
corner
yeah,
and the
Okay.
skinny part.
exactly.
Right.
And the skinny part is part of the post office?
Correct.
But a separate lot?
adding in that.
It's not a
little-
separate lot.
all-
It was
merged
never
in.
a separate lot.
All
That's
3
just the
merged
zone
in?
line. Yeah.
So
Okay.
essentially adding this in and making it one lot,
Mhm.
the way that it is now.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
So we will have that for you tomorrow.
Great.
Are we
Well-
starting with them tomorrow?
Yeah, after the executive session, we've got
Yes,
the 6
That's
o'clock
what I
meeting.
mean,
Yeah,
starting at 7.
correct. And I have a half an hour for you all. on
That should
the
be it.
Okay, that's fine.
And then the next time this group is meeting is the February date we chose.
Yeah, February
February
4th.
4th?
Yeah,
Or-
so that will be
Right.
inclusionary zoning and what else?
Yeah, I have
And
that.
Residential.
some
Yeah, and
residential.
Okay.
we had also
residential
talked about basic standards too.
Oh, I thought basic standards was a smart.
March meeting. Yeah, I think. Well,
So we had
Definitions
talked
and
about,
stuff.
yeah, we had talked about doing next week residents, or next time residence zone, special zones and basic standards, because we
Okay.
swapped affordable housing and basic standards,
Yeah, but
but,
let's do the affordable one.
yeah, I think affordable
I
housing,
think
we
we should
should,
do that.
so next week, let's do, or next time, let's do affordable housing, residence zones and special zones.
Okay, and that,
And
does
then,
residence zones include institutional uses or is that, could that, I mean, that could
we
be like a 7-hour meeting.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we can be prepared to talk
Let's,
about those.
let's talk
and
about
See
it.
how much we get through.
See how much we get through.
Is there a
Yeah.
Started, yeah.
proposed, I printed out the existing inclusionary zoning. Was there a proposed one that
I
I missed
didn't-
somewhere?
No, so we have 3 discussion, I actually have copies of the other, of the inclusionary zoning,
Oh,
but we had sent you. We have 3 discussion items that we wanted to talk through. I mean, we could even just introduce them very quickly that you can think about for the next meeting, so you can come prepared.
Okay.
If you
you want
want,
me to pass out those regulations.
sure, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
why don't we do
We can
that?
just like,
I mean,
just
do
like
you
1
guys
minute,
wanna
just tell you what
talk
what we're gonna
about it,
talk
or-
about. Would that be helpful for next time?
Yep.
I just, if there was a proposed version, I just wanted it.
No, there's not, because we have 3 items for discussion. And there are
Okay.
essentially things that we wanted to ask you what you thought about before we move forward.
We can
with
do that
it.
in 1 minute. It's on the agenda.
Yeah,
The agenda and under
We have 1
inclusionary
minute.
zoning at the
Yeah.
bottom, items for discussion. Roman numeral 1, 2, and 3 in the agenda. And
so the first item is if inclusionary zoning fee should only apply to market rate development. Right now, it applies to development, the inclusionary zoning fee applies to developments that also include inclusionary zoning in them. It applies only to the market rate units within that development, but these were all things these are all things we heard from the developer practitioner meeting to make inclusionary zoning more attractive. So that they said it was make it more feasible for them to make more housing in the downtown area, essentially. If we didn't charge a fee for developments that include inclusionary
So
zoning.
basically,
What kind of
Bertus Ave,
fee?
so Bertus Ave is the example. They provided 3 affordable units. When they got their building permit, I still had to charge the.
Oh, the affordable housing
Yeah.
trust
Yeah,
fund fee.
yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So it would
Um,
only apply to market rate developments, not developments that are already including affordable.
You get double charged in effect.
Or
Yeah.
only apply to the value of the market rate units in the development and not.
We do that.
That's what it is
We do
now.
that, yeah.
Okay, so they're
Um,
asking to be
Yeah, so
exempted.
that's the first question that
we think
to
it
propose, yeah.
makes sense. We think the answer to this.
So they're asking
Yes.
to apply the fee to the market rate units.
No, they
only.
just don't want the fee.
They don't want to.
If they're already
Yeah, no.
including inclusionary zoning
No.
in there, okay. So that was the first.
Hard no.
Okay, if they're,
Trust me.
They're just introducing it. We're not supposed to vote right now.
I can tell you based on a lot of other conversations I've had. No.
oh, okay, all right. Let me.
Okay.
We'll just.
No. Okay.
Uh,
Please bring
let's
that
go.
back for
Pay,
further
is that your idea?
conversation.
So, I mean, the next one, basically the inclusionary zoning right now is an 130% cap for the density bonus. They want more, is basically what they're saying. I have thought on
Yeah.
how it could be changed, because I personally, the calculation annoys me a little bit. I think there's a way to simplify it.
Okay.
But basically that comment is just, they want more density, I think is
The
the.
the way I
Simple
read
way
it
to-
is the code already controls the density. It already controls it, I believe.
You know,
And then in addition, they say, but in any case, you can't exceed 130%.
yeah, so there's the underlying density and then
Yeah.
there's a different density for inclusionary zoning is the simple way to think
Right,
of it. And
right.
I remember the comment
30% increase if it's
Basically.
inclusionary zone.
and the way I took it was they wanted more.
So they're gonna give us 10 to 15% of the units affordable and they want more than 30% of an increase in density.
I know which developer was requesting that too.
Do you want me to vote on that one now, Dan?
Could you?
No.
Because I will.
Okay, that's the second
Yeah.
item that came up. Then the third one was if the bonus should also apply to projects that pay the fee in lieu. So if they can obtain the density bonus, if they're paying the fee in lieu of, they're paying the fee in lieu, so they're contributing to the housing trust fund, should they be able to get that density bonus in exchange for paying the fee in lieu?
So if they're not providing any on-site.
Yes, but
Yeah.
they're paying into the fund.
They're
Should they be
paying-
able to get the bonus?
So they want 130% basically.
Or paying the fee?
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah, or more.
Yeah, the or more, but aside from that, it seems to me that item 3 does make sense. Because
Yeah,
what the
they're
developer is
contributing.
doing without some subsidy somewhere
I think the
is
fee
he's
has to
using the
change
market
then.
rate.
I don't know.
units, Subsidize the affordable units. So
Mhm.
I think this one may make sense.
I think the fee may need to increase though if they get that, just because right now our fee is essentially, it's about 450,000 per unit.
That's
Which
low.
That, my understanding is that doesn't pay for an affordable unit for the town to go build
I
it.
agree.
It doesn't.
So,
Right now it's at 600 to 650.
I don't know.
I
per
think
unit.
that number that the commission as a whole needs to revisit that because that's always a number in motion.
It's
based
always
on
a
market
number in
values
motion. Yeah, that's
And
right.
cost of construction.
And the fee changes because it's all based on SMI, but it's probably not keeping up with
We need to
cost of
revisit it.
construction. Yeah.
I agree with you.
But if you do and constantly update that, I think then their comment here, item 3, Roman 3.
Mhm.
So those are the 3 items. The first one's about organization. We can come back to that, but also if you have any thoughts between now and the next meeting, feel free to send them to us so we can come prepared for the next meeting on inclusionary zoning.
But I wrote down, if I understood your thoughts on item 1, no, item 2, no, and item 3, yes.
We're done.
We're done. No, we go over this next time, but
Yeah.
you know, it's just, I'm trying to read what, that was quick. All right,
So we'll see you virtually
Thank you.
tomorrow.
yes,
you.
virtually tomorrow.
We need to formally adjourn.
We just need to bless the minutes from the last meeting.
That is true.
I vote to bless the minutes from last meeting.
Do I see a show of hands to approve the minutes? from
I shall
last
second
meeting?
and vote.
All right, it's unanimous.
Approved, meetings adjourned.
See you tomorrow.